What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the All Mac No Cheese podcast. We're here on episode 2, and yes, you heard that right. The name already changed. The podcast is now available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Amazon. And we have a lot of competition, I discovered in that process. So I went ahead and made the name All Mac No Cheese. It's kind of like the runner-up name I was considering anyways, and it's grown on me and became the name I kind of prefer as is. So while we're still young, before we've established ourselves, this podcast will be moving forward as All Mac No Cheese. Anyways, episode 2. Today we have our very first guest, a good friend of mine, Caleb Gregory. He has done 2 podcasts in his time, one of which was with a friend of his back around the time I was meeting him. I couldn't tell you the year, but it was probably 8 or 9 years ago now, around that ballpark. And he is currently doing a podcast called UnseriousUniversity. It is on a hiatus at the moment while he kind of figures out how to fit it into his life with his other endeavors and ambitions. But we're going to talk about a whole bunch of that stuff. You guys are just going to kind of hear his take on life. And we just, nothing too serious here. We just kind of sat down and talked as buddies about some topics that I don't think I've gotten the chance to talk with him about before. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know on Instagram how you guys are liking this podcast. I would appreciate it. And yeah, I hope that's it. I could say more. I'm not going to. Let's jump right into it, baby. All right. Well, I hit the button. So
okay, cool. Actually, I kind of have a question for you, and since it's the first, hi buddy. Oh my goodness, Molly. This is going to be a consistent guest star.
She'll eventually chill out, go lay in her
bed. So my question for you actually is, what is your aim? What's your goal? And I know it's not easy, but
with the podcast.
Yeah, with the podcast. What do you envision it to look like over the time?
So I'm trying to be real with myself because I've done so much YouTube. I've done YouTube for most of my life at this point. That was kind of a cool thing to realize. I started with skate park videos more than 15 years ago, and I'm only 28. So it's for the rest of time, if I keep doing it, I've done it for most of my life.
Yep.
And I think about when it started. It started with just pure curiosity and just childhood. I want to make videos, dude. I got into YouTube pretty early on, and I was like, dude, I want to make YouTube videos. It was never about money, and once it started becoming about money is when it became less special.
Yeah, 100%. It loses its luster.
Exactly. So with this, even though, podcasts are a way a lot of people make a living, and I'm aware of that, it's not like I'm going into it with people just do this and it's fun.
Yeah, I just want to take on a lot of work for free.
I used to do that with YouTube, but with doing this now, it's really something that I want to intentionally try to keep as just a form of self-expression. That sounds cliche.
No.
But just a way to speak my mind. I can't tell you how many times I record a little Snapchat video and delete it. I'm like, nobody wants that in their stories, but I have a lot I want to say.
Yeah, and it's different. As different Snapchat stories aren't quite the platform to be opinionated, in my opinion. I think that people who do that are speaking out for attention more than they are to actually make something of substance.
Yeah.
I don't think you can, especially when it comes to politics or culture or anything of the sort, I think if you genuinely believe you're fighting the good fight or making a difference by a story post, the overwhelming majority of the time it's usually just for some sort of moralistic validation.
Yeah. So
I think long form is better. I think you can flesh out ideas and add nuance to stuff.
And I agree, because it's easy to upload a podcast for me. It's always been easy to upload a video. I've gotten past all the nerves associated with it.
Yep.
But with my brain, but with doing a Snapchat story, that's why I always delete it. That's why I never actually post it, minus once in a blue moon. And it's usually if I'm ranting about something funny, because it's at that point, I'm telling you a funny thing because I want people to laugh. It is kind of more, it's okay to want attention with a joke.
Of course, yeah. That's a good use of social media, in my opinion, is for humor.
Yeah, I totally agree. But with a podcast, it's just, I realize I do this so often. Just do this. Just sit down,
fun.
talk to people. Gives me an excuse to like, hey, I don't see you often enough, and now
Right.
you're sitting in my house and we're recording a podcast. You know?
Exactly.
Molly, you gotta go lay down. Go lay down. It's okay.
But so your overall envision is just kind of some sort of conversational self-expression,
Yeah.
essentially.
Pretty much just a way to get on here and do like the thing that I'm trying to focus on with everything I do, even when I post those stupid little reels of me dancing around, like rest in peace, my granny.
Yeah.
When I do that stuff, it's not like I'm not doing that because I expect to be the next big influencer and I just want to get popular. It's like I keep listening to this "Rest in Peace, My Granny" song unironically. I'm like, I'm a dance to it, dude. I'm a dance to it, and it's not so much about like, hey, look at me being trendy. It's like this is just me.
Yeah,
and that's what I want to do. I really want to. I've done a lot of work on myself lately to, just have a lot more confidence in myself and trust in myself more, and I want to be myself more loudly. Kind of how I see a lot of your friends do.
I try to surround myself with people who emulate that.
And that's where I want to get, which is why I want to hang out with you guys more. It all makes sense. That's one of the things I want to talk about a little bit.
Love it.
But since I'm trying to do that more, and I love making content, I always have. It's like it's a perfect thing because I get to get that content itch, that kind of being silly, doing something new instead of the gaming thing I did for 13 years. And on top of that, like with the podcast, whatever I'm talking about, even if I have a more serious one, if I have some random expert on that I managed to get on here, it's like I'm doing it because it's just what I think's cool, and it's like I'm the niche. I don't have a niche. I am the niche, and even though that might not appeal to, it might not be marketable as well. I'm not here to market. I'm here to have fun.
No, but like at the end of the day, especially if you're trying to do your best to not make it like cash grab oriented, I'm willing to bet that it is more fulfilling to have a like small, tight knit tribal community of people who are all interested in a certain like kind of non-mainstream niche than it is to be some mega pop star who has to be appealing to every single average person. It's kind of soulless at that point because you have to be so generic and so bland that you erase so much character just for the sake of making sure that whether you're in music, you sound enough like Dua Lipa to be played in every store, or if you're doing a podcast, you're not offending any one particular group over the other, so you end up talking about nothing. And so I think it's so much more fun when you find stuff like you're into a lot of the same bands as me. You understand like the rush and exhilaration of like going to Story So Far concert rather than going to like a huge stadium to go watch a band play. They're both similarly, they're both enjoyable experiences, but there's just something about like being a part of like the Story So Far community and getting like sweaty and in like the fucking worst of it.
You're in the
screaming
pit.
this song. It's just like I walk away from shows like that with such a glow rather than like I went and saw with my parents, I saw Def Leppard and Joan Jett, and I believe Poison was there as well, and that was at SoFi, and it was awesome. I mean, these are like living legends of like the classic rock era, and obviously I am biased. I like the Story So Far more than those bands, but it might kind of be self-reinforcing in the way that I like the Story So Far more because they kind of represent something more culturally flavorful, and even though it's smaller, I think it has more impact. And so I think that when you build a project like this, you can kind of go with a similar goal of like, I want like a flavorful, very like something that holds a lot of dense character, kind of like microculture that I can create. And then if there's like a small group of people that are able to engage with me and enjoy it, then that's kind of like the sweet spot in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I would never, ever pay money to, like, well, I guess I would, but I would never want to. Like, it would take a lot for me to convince myself to pay money to sit and see live music. Like,
Right, yeah,
you know, that's a
yeah.
hard one for me. I did it for, I mean, the Beach Boys played out here.
Yeah.
And I brought my lawn chair and I sat and watched and I had a good time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, even when it's like at Transplants, local
Mm-hmm.
brewery, and they have either live music or just like a DJ night with like
Yeah.
emo night. And you know me, I'm like, oh, Pierce the Veil, Sleeping of Sirens, let me at them. You know, I get in there and I just dance all night.
Yeah.
And it's so much like, it's what it makes me enjoy. Like you said, it adds more to the music. It's not just, I like this music because it sounds good.
Yeah.
I like this music because I have these experiences with it, these memories, and absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you get a lot of that. Like, that's funny enough. I think that's why Turnstile has gotten so huge, is because they have been that. I don't know if you're familiar with Turnstile.
I don't know too much of their music, but I know about them.
Funny enough, when I first saw them ever live, I saw them open up for the Story So Far, and I had no idea who they were. I was at the barrier, and someone next to me was just like, "Be prepared, they're insane." And I was like, "Okay, you know." At this point, I've seen a handful of bands. Like, I think I know what I'm in for. And then as soon as they came out, I think it was the bassist, like, dropped his bass and then did a front flip into the crowd, and I was like, oh. And they go hard, like, they go so hard. They have like this like classic like punk sound, but it's a little more, I don't know, like, pleasing to the average person's ear. And they have really refined that sound where they have like really heavy riffs, but stuff that you can still sing along to. And this sort of like middle ground genre that they've created, it's just blown them up. I don't know if you've seen videos of their concerts in the last like year or two, but it's like a sea of people like jumping up and down at like massive shows.
I have to become a fan.
They're phenomenal. I try to put everyone onto them because they're just, in my opinion, they're like a cultural movement right now.
Knowing you already got like tickets to their next show 8 months away.
I don't know about their next show, but I went to their last show out here, and it was unreal. I mean, it was, I think it was at the outside venue for the Hollywood Bowl, but don't quote me, I can't remember off the top of my head. But it was dirt outside, and the dust storm was so bad that everyone was wearing like their t-shirts around their face, and you could see like the black dirt around like their eyes and mouth. It was so bad, and everyone loved it. Like, it was a blast.
That's crazy. I love that.
Yeah, I'll show you some videos after. But
nice.
Yeah. They're a perfect example, in my opinion, of they created something like unabashed. They weren't trying to like emulate anything popular for the sake of popularity. They were making what they love. They did it for years. They built up a really loyal fan base of a handful of people, and then that propped them up into this like idolized state now, where people are getting into Turnstile not because Turnstile is conforming to a popular sound, but because they are getting average people to conform to Turnstile.
I love it.
That's what makes it so like infectious.
That's what I think really makes like Turnstile's they're good for life.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
if you could do that, because the guys who blow up like that feel like industry plants, even if they're not, they never feel like they last. You know, like the guys who have done it forever and then they start like blowing up and they already got this cult fan base going for them. That's like, I don't know. Like, Drake is weird though. Drake throws a wrench in all of this for me.
Yeah, but I think what it comes down to is like when you blow up per se, what we're really saying when we say that is you have suddenly acquired the attention of a ton of people, but that population of people are all the type of people who are looking for the next thing. And so you can only be the next thing for a limited amount of time. Like, it's inherently in the definition. So what you're acquiring is, I believe the term that gets used a lot in marketing is neophiliac, which is someone who like likes new shit. And when you acquire the attention of these people, it is borrowed time. Like, you are new until you're not. And as soon as something new comes around again, that's where they all migrate to. And they're just at a consistent slow walk migration between one trend to the other. And when you blow up, that's the attention that you get. You haven't, and so the reason people consider it falling off a lot of the time is because they never built that foundation of like true fans, like to their art that they wanted to make. They never built that bedrock. So when the trendy, shiny, current thing goes away, then you, when that goes away, you fall back to where you were, which a lot of the times is nothing. Like maybe sure you've net some lifelong fans along the way, I would hope. But like Lil Nas X is a perfect example. Like he blew up, made Old Town Road, got Billy Ray Cyrus on, was making like pop hit after pop hit. And then over time, something else has to take the place of the hot new thing.
Yeah.
And then he fell off, and who knows what he's doing or if he has fans anymore or
right?
anything at all.
Haven't heard about him in years.
Exactly. And so the whole idea is that you would want to build a culture, not a following. And then if you have that culture, then you can sustain that for as long as you please, essentially. That's why the story so far, again, going back to them, is like such a elite band, is because they have been doing this for probably 20 years now. And everything that they make still,
crazy.
It's still like grips people, and every single time they come out with a new album, it's amazing, and I need to go see them tour it. And every time they're out there, they're like, we'll do this for as long as we can. And like that is awesome. And they're standing.
Trying to put her outside.
But yeah, no, they if you build a culture, it's, I think, more fulfilling. It sustains trends better. And so that was like, that's always something that I try to look out for whenever I'm like taking on something new, whether it be like my own project or some like being a fan of somebody else's project. Yeah. Whether it be like podcast or music or art or whatever they're doing. Like I try to look for someone who is creating a form of self-expression that is unabashed, unshamefully themselves, and then consistent. And then if you can do that, you from there build a culture. Like I think that's kind of how it works.
I think I did a little bit of that with my YouTube thing, the Cuboac thing, because I have like viewers from there who are undoubtedly watching this right now. You know, like they've been on the journey for 7-8 years. They've been a part of it, so they really have a great understanding of who I am in terms of a creator, where you know, I don't really feel... There's definitely been times where I've tried to conform because I had these big dreams and visions of like, oh, dude, I'm going to blow up doing this. I'm going to blow up doing that. But, you know, that's kind of... Having grown through all of that, I'm excited for this because hopefully I can do exactly that. I could just be myself. People will come to, you know, resonate with me and the stuff that I'm into, at least... to a certain extent, to want to hit the subscribe button, the follow button, and then
be part of it.
Just keep going from there, you know? And I don't have to, I don't care if I blow up barely at all, you know, bunch. I don't want to change that. I don't want to let numbers influence me because that definitely happened. That's how I went from being that YouTuber who's doing it just for the love of the game to like, I had a video blow up and I had a little earnings number go up to like $1, and that's all it took. I was like, oh, I made $1 on this video.
I'm quitting my job.
Just imagine. And you know, there was a time where I quit my job to pursue YouTube. Like I was that guy, and it worked out for a few months, kind of, I guess, if you want to call it that. But you know, I gotta live the dream as much as I need to. Is kind of also how I look at it. I got to pay my one little bill at the time living at home off of YouTube money. I did that for a few months. I had like a good number of people on my streams, and you know, I tried to keep it going for way too long, but I grew out of it. So here we are doing something that's actually true to me, talking to my buddies, making a podcast.
It's fun. I really, obviously, I enjoy it. What's the initial kickoff question outside of this topic that we're on that you have?
So it kind of goes in with what we're talking about right now, of like the self-expression. It's the way that you live your life and the way that I love to see it and the way that I want to, you know, I see a lot of the way you and your friend group, the people you surround yourself with, you guys have qualities that I want to tap into more of in myself, you know, and truthfully, you know, it's like, you're my friend. I could hit you up and come and hang out and surround myself with that kind of person, which is why I've been doing that a little more. And I really appreciate you inviting me to the New Year's party. We got to talk about metas at some point. But just the way that you guys are really, I don't know the right word for it, but free sounds like a good word, because you guys just you had a bunch of words you already used to describe it, just living unshamefully, unabashedly yourself. I look at that and I don't think I'm terrible at it, but you guys, like, it's like second language. It's like it's so natural, and that's what I want to kind of get to in myself.
Yeah,
And,
I think as it goes for most things, like what you see on social media or what you see like posted is different from what goes on in real life. I do think that I am thankfully around a handful of people, and quite honestly, like the amount of the people that I have surrounded myself with have changed a lot over the years. Like, and that's just the ebb and flow of adult life. Like, you have your childhood friends, you have your high school friends, you have your teenage friends, your early 20s friends, and like all of those things. Some people pop in and out. My current roommate Mason, him and I were like really, really close right after high school. He was like part of the people that I would see like every day. And then life changes, people move, people get in relationships, people get jobs, and time gets invested elsewhere. And I didn't really hang with him much on a consistent basis since then. We saw each other, but it was always kind of like a run into an old friend, how are you doing type thing.
Yeah.
And now he's my roommate. And it's circled back around, and I'm seeing him all the time. Funny enough, not right now because he's working out of state, but
that's why I don't think I've met him yet. Funny enough, I'm gonna call him out right now. He followed me and unfollowed me. Like, I think he accidentally followed me, and I got the notification.
So funny.
I checked it, and I was like, what the heck, dude? We could be buddy. No, but I haven't met him. I've never met him.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. But yeah, he's a person that was from my old life who has now circled back into my life again very consistently. But as far as living a life, kind of like trying to do your best to be yourself in an unashamed way, I think it's kind of like a twofold ordeal. Like, there were things, and always will be, like, I don't really see this process ever stopping, but there have been things about myself that, okay, I guess the best way to word this is, when you have something about yourself that you don't like, the hardest part is really figuring out if it's something you need to change or not. Because I do believe that there are things that someone doesn't like about themselves that they should change them. And then there are other things that if they don't like about themselves, they need to let go of that judgment and allow that thing to just be.
Gotcha.
And the hardest part is distinguishing between when it's time to do something about yourself versus when it's time to love yourself. And I have invested pretty much my entire adulthood into trying to get good at that. I think for the most part, like, when it comes to basically, like, it can be translated over into many different ways of saying it, or people have different mindsets or points of view on this same exact topic that I'm trying to pick apart. But the perspective that I tend to look at it from is insecurities. I think that if you're insecure about a thing about yourself, you need to find out if you need to fix it or if you need to love it. And both of those movements will get rid of the insecurity, but if you pick the wrong one, it'll make it worse. And so, like, for me, if I have physical insecurities, those tend to be, for the most part, the ones that I try to change, but with a like healthy mindset on it. So it's like, if the more I age, I notice that like my teeth aren't as straight anymore, and that becomes like a physical insecurity of mine, then I'll go get like Invisalign. Or gotcha. I'll get like teeth whitening or something like that.
Do what you can do.
Yeah.
Do what you can control what you can control.
Yeah, realistically.
Yeah. I understand totally what you're saying, and I got like an entirely different set of words to describe it.
Yeah, and there are times where I have, and you really do need to develop the skill of being able to look at yourself with the least amount of bias possible, because I have really good friends of mine who swear up and down, like I'll use this as like a vague hypothetical to like not really out anyone, but like I have friends of mine who are girls who will be like, oh, I need to lose weight. And I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Like it is not, it should not even be a thing that you are worrying about. If you are feeling some sort of way about your appearance and everyone who is being like truthfully honest with you is telling you that you're already a very attractive person.
Yeah.
Then you have a disconnect and you need to learn to like bring yourself into reality and maybe love yourself a little bit more rather than like go and change physical aspects about yourself in a way that's unnecessary. And personally, I think like, I don't know. I know that a lot of people, especially when it comes to insecurities about themselves, seek out validation from other people. And a lot of the time it centers around validation around whichever group you're trying to attract. If you're a guy and you're straight, then you're trying to attract women. And so you are obsessed with a woman's opinion of you, whether that be your physical traits or your charisma or your overall attractiveness level. Like you are hyper-focused on that. And in the same way that women are with men, and so on and so forth, you, run into these situations where you are like essentially overcompensating on the wrong things when in reality, if I've learned, like I very much so have learned in the last handful of years that at least from a guy's perspective, your attractiveness level is centered around your confidence in yourself, your ability to understand women and their perspective.
Oh yeah.
And then your ability to like take care of yourself. Like if you're like hygienic and well kept, and then you aren't a creep and are funny, then for the most part, and then you exude a level of confidence that comes from a place of, I know that I have value. And so I am particular about how that value, how I give out like my time or my attention.
Yeah.
That is like the perfect mix. But a lot of guys are like on this looks maxing wave, or like they're, and it's like, sure, like you can make yourself look like a young Brad Pitt or a young Leo.
Yeah.
And you will be more attractive physically, but women get the ick from non-physical things all the time. Like just because you're, looking like a hunk does not mean that you're going to keep anyone, or
it'll get you through the honeymoon phase, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Or once the honeymoon phase is gone, if that's all you got going for you, if that's where you spent all your self-development time was developing looks maxing, things. Like you said,
Yeah. And I think like, I think this goes for both men and women, but, if you know or have met like a woman of like real substance, that physical looks is not going to like bring her home. Like it's sure you can. I think physical looks are great for catching people's attention, or like it's kind of like getting first impressions on easy mode. Like people automatically give you the benefit of the doubt more. I believe it's called the halo effect, where if you're just a more attractive person, people
pretty privilege.
Yeah. Pretty privilege. It's 100%. And I do think that like a lot of people can access pretty privilege if they focus on looks maxing. I think that is the thing. And I do think that there is like a case to be made where you could improve the probability of things going your way in life if you improve that aspect of yourself. But when it comes to like, I don't know, attracting another person and connecting with them, like so many people just absolutely like negate or neglect, should I say. They neglect any sort of introspection whatsoever.
Yeah.
The overwhelming majority of time when I was a late teenager and in my early 20s was spent on self-development in every non-physical sense possible. Like I didn't like, funny enough, my first girlfriend, Danny, can attest to this. Like when she met me, like because
that's when I met you as well. Like was when you were with her, and I'm trying to remember, like, even back then, I've always looked up to you in these ways because the work that you did, I definitely met you pretty deep into it, or, at some point, obviously the work never really ends once you start doing that kind of stuff, but
I think it's pivotal work at that age.
Yeah. So.
But Danny
Yeah.
can attest to this. She knew me before I cared about like what I was wearing or like if my haircut looked good or like anything like that. Like she was with me, her and Joel, and I believe Dalton. No. Oh yeah, when I got my first like chain ever, and then me, Dylan, and Larissa went and got like my ears pierced for the first time, like stuff like that, where I was so hyper focused on introspection that I didn't give a fuck about how I looked.
Yeah.
And granted, like I wasn't obese and I didn't like have like anything necessarily wrong with me, so I still wasn't a bad looking person per se, but I definitely wouldn't stand out if we like went to a party in LA or something. Like I'm definitely not like catching
Minus
looks.
the height.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. My one cheat code. But like I was wearing like striped shirt, plaid shorts, like worst fucking combination you can ever think of. Like, and I didn't care. Like I had a cloth belt and no show Vans and thought like, oh yeah, I don't know why these girls don't give me time of day. And it's like, well,
I can't even imagine you wearing that stuff.
Dude,
today.
that was what I wore in high school. Like, and I was like, yeah, you're an insecure teenager who doesn't exude any of the confident qualities that a woman would like. And you look like you dressed yourself in the dark. Like, so what, quit feeling sorry for yourself and learn the game and get good at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think all this to say, like, I kind of just went on a tangent, but, when it comes to,
That's what it's all about, baby.
yeah,
what
exactly.
It's all about.
Yeah. When it comes to, being around people that try to live outwardly in a way where there's the least amount of shame possible.
Yeah.
I pull a lot of my confidence from my like knowledge that I've built myself into someone valuable. Like I can identify the multiple areas of life that one can deem important or valuable, or you can define success in. And then I've tried to apply myself in a organic and straightforward way in each of these fields to put out a good version of myself. I'll never say that I put out the best version of myself, because I think there are very few things in life that I have actually given my all, like my very best. I think that's an extremely difficult thing that like very few people are good at consistently doing.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult.
Me and you both being ambitious guys.
Right,
I'm sure
right.
we can both relate to that pretty strongly.
Yes, I know I have had the rare moments where I feel like I have put everything in and left nothing in the tank, and I can tell when I don't do that. And it's an easy call. But yeah, I try to build myself up into being that kind of a person, and then I just know that I can pull some self-esteem and some confidence out of that, and that I will attract other people who are similar to me because I show that, whether it be like verbally or non-verbally.
Yeah.
And obviously like it ranges. Like I have friends who are super confident on the dance floor and like everybody loves them, and then like if you make that same person like do like a public speaking thing, then they'll like shiver in their boots.
Gotcha.
Or if I have friends who like are very suave with women and have no problem with that, and then as soon as like the camera's on them, they like freeze up. And it just it depends. Like you have to basically, like a lot of people think that if you show confidence in one area that means you're a confident person, when in reality you're just confident about that field that's on display.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I think that like every single different environment or situation that you find yourself in, you basically go back to level one, start as a novice, and have to build yourself back up again. And a lot of people like don't.
I needed that.
A lot of people don't see that, and they just like they're like, oh, how come this person is like literally like for me the concept of jumping out in front of a group of people and dancing was a nightmare, and I still get a little nervous when I do it, but I catch myself doing it.
You don't.
Yes, I do. I swear to God,
No,
like I get
don't.
a knot in my stomach pretty much every time that I do it.
Even with the liquid courage?
Oh, the liquid courage is obviously a help.
Yeah,
but, but it really depends on the day. But like there was a day where I was with a couple friends of mine, and we were at the fair, and we had just left the Midland concert. We were walking around the fairgrounds, and I was, I had a few beers in me, and we walked past this like game show that they were doing live where it was like trivia or something, and there was like a crowd and people on stage and podiums, and they were playing music in between games, I think. And I started dancing like off to the side, and the hosts saw me and they like pointed at me and called me out on stage in front of the group of people. And so I just put my head down and I like kept dancing. Like I kept going because I was like, if I look up, I'm going to like double think my next move or like get in my head. But like just the idea, like prior me would have, as soon as someone was like, "Oh, look at that white boy getting it," like I'm immediately stopping.
You're
like,
retreating.
I'm
Retreat.
like, their eyes on me. Yeah, like, oh God. And so like that was a skill that I started at level 1 with and had to build myself up, expand my comfort zone, expand the things that I know that I can do and the confidence. But then that doesn't automatically translate over to where now I can go host the HOTS Gala and be fine with it. Like that was a separate skill that had to be honed from level 1 as well. Yeah. And funny enough, I had a talk about a year ago with a coworker about this because I don't talk publicly about my work, but I work with multiple teams, and one of the teams that I work with, I was speaking with the lead of that team, and he was talking about how like much he was struggling being the lead because he is an incredibly skilled worker at his craft. He's very good at what he does. He's the best in the team. But
being a lead's a whole different job.
Being a lead is a separate muscle that you have never worked out before, that you do not know anything about. And just because you're the most knowledgeable or most skillful at your craft doesn't then make you good at leading a group of people. And I was kind of like breaking all of this down for him because I was like, you're going in kind of like, if I can be real with you, like with a little bit of arrogance that just because no one can out craft you, that you therefore are fit to lead. When in reality, like some of the best coaches ever were terrible players, like because they're good at leading, but they're not good at the game. And if you want to be good at leading, you have to treat it as a brand new skill that you have not done before. There are books that you need to read. There are podcasts you need to listen to. There are experiences that you need to learn. There's scrapes on your knees and bruises on your elbows that you need to earn before you can then come out of it a good leader. And so I think that when it comes to like trying to live a life where you're unashamed, it really comes down to, for me, like, and I'm super logical, I'm super game theory, super technical. Like I'm identifying all of the areas that I suck in and all of the areas that I may encounter publicly, and then try to get good at those to a level of comfortability where I don't need to worry. And then it's a lot easier to just live shamelessly because you've expanded your comfort zone in so many different areas that everything is your comfort zone a lot of the times.
It's like the real thing that you got to like build the foundational skills of being able to build confidence. And that's what people might perceive as confidence to begin with, is that you are able to work on things and then believe in your own ability enough, you know, get past any form of imposter syndrome to know like, oh yeah, I don't have to worry about this. And I've done a lot of that myself, you know. I'm not talking about a lot of what's going on like super publicly yet, but I've been going through a lot in the last year and I've done a ton of work on myself. I've been in therapy for the first time ever for the last like 8 months now, 9 months.
Very nice. Very nice.
And my therapist is awesome. And he's, you know, kind of guided me. It's not like he's done the work. That's what I think a lot. Oh, my therapist helped me. And your therapist yourself will be like, I kind of just showed you what you
they lay out the path,
yourself.
But you got to walk it.
Exactly. You know, they could lead you to the lake, but you got to be able to drink from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's nice having the like validation of a professional, but that's about it.
Yeah. It is very nice sometimes when when he tells me like, hey, clinically speaking, these are like what you're saying here is healthy, even if it feels like
weird.
It feels weird, you know, where this is good. And it's kind of goes to show how unhealthy a lot of normal life is, and that we just
absolutely
don't have good examples of the things that you kind of can get through a professional, that they're going to be like, hey, yeah, no, this is definitely a better tool set to have to, you know, don't listen to all the noise and but
some of the worst people that I know are just on emotional autopilot, and that's why they're the worst people I know.
Oh yeah. It's a dangerous thing, to be honest, you know. It's more dangerous for them than anybody else.
Yeah, well, I mean,
But
depending.
that's a good point. That's
if
actually
if
a really good point.
if they're a man, then sometimes it's more dangerous for the people around them.
Yeah.
But it's case per case.
Yeah, absolutely. But for me, all the stuff you're talking about whether you gotta love it or change it. Are you familiar with the term radical acceptance? Mm-mm. So radical acceptance is, I'm surprised by the way, but radical acceptance is basically the concept of you don't have to be okay with things, you don't have to like them, but accept them for what they are and don't let them hold you back. Like accept it and let it go. So if something, and part of that is asking yourself, can I do anything about it?
Right.
Can I control this?
Yeah.
So if the answer is no, I can't control this, you've got to come to peace however way you got to do and just accept this is a situation that is out of my hands, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I got to move on. I can't, it's kind of just finally coming to a bookend on certain things, I guess you could say, where I'm not going to dwell on this anymore. I'm not going to ruminate on it. This is what it is, and that sucks. Moving on.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of times if it's a objectively good idea, then people come to that conclusion from various paths. So like, even if I haven't heard of it through the coined term radical acceptance, I have found myself operating in the same way, just under a different term.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
That's why when you were talking about it, it was like, that feels like the idea of asking, can I do anything about this? Because if you can do something about it, radical acceptance comes in and accepting where you're at, but that you can do something about it.
Yeah.
And then you do the thing.
Well, funny enough, it's kind of like a catch-22 because if you can do something about it, then you do something about it. And if you can't do something about it, then you still do something about it, which is accept it. Like that's still an action that you take.
That's a good point.
But it's being able again to identify when each situation, case per case, when it's called for.
Got to be real.
Yeah.
I think find that real. That's part of it too, but that isn't like necessarily including it. That's part of it for me. The way I practice it is I got to be honest with myself.
Yes.
Because if I'm radically accepting things that are irrational, like you said, it's a bad mix. That's
it's terrible.
Setting up for disaster.
Yeah, it's self-enabling.
Yeah.
Toxic behavior. I find myself a lot of times, like I am like any other person, I'm going to get frustrated and I'm going to get caught up on trivial things in life. But I've found myself getting really good at not getting upset by life throwing me a curveball. And I think that's simultaneously just me growing more seasoned with age, and being more weathered by time. And I think also, there was a quote, not necessarily a quote, but like a conversation that someone had summed up on a podcast that they thought was profound and I found profound myself. And they were talking about basically how, this person was engaging with a business partner, and their partner was talking about how upset they were with one of the projects that they were managing, how it was going. And the things that were going wrong, for the most part, were out of this person's control. Bad luck, shitty timing, whatever it may be. And the response that they gave was essentially, how foolish would it be for you to operate in life expecting from this point forward everything is smooth? Everything is going to work out. Like I've already encountered all the adversity my life ever will, and from here on out I will never get another monkey wrench. I will never get another like era of bad luck. And so I now operate, and that stuck with me. And so I now operate.
Stick with me.
Yeah,
I like that.
It definitely hit me at the right time in my life. So I now move throughout my life with this sort of mindset that, like, baked into my expectations are going to be a bunch of shitty luck. Like, I am going to be at some point in the future writhing around in utter pain. I'm going to be bawling my eyes out in utter sadness. I'm going to be shelling out thousands of dollars because of some horrible thing that happened that I couldn't prevent, or I could have prevented but didn't, like,
Yeah.
oh well, that is going to happen to me. Like, it's not a if, it is a when. Like, these things are going to happen to me. How foolish would I be to not expect them to happen to me? That's how life is. Every single person that is older than you has ever spoke to you about how life goes. It's like, life is going to beat your ass. You just have to get up one more time, then it knocks you down.
Yeah.
And
it ain't easy.
no. And so
it's not sunshine and rainbows. And
no,
I feel like our generation, they expect it to be so, more so than like, you know, maybe our parents just grew out of it, and this is how they were at our age too.
Maybe.
But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Loud and clear, dude.
Yeah. So like, for instance, about a few weeks ago, I was driving in my neighborhood and through my own fault, hit someone. They were pulling into their driveway, and I got their back door. And I was so frustrated with it, but that was just in the moment. And once I let it pass, I was like, I can't go throughout my life with this expectation of a perfect driving record. Like, I can't assume that I will never have to deal with this. And so once the emotions left my body, and this person who I had a minor crash with, like, was super, super sweet and kind to me.
Yeah.
After that, I was just like, all right. Like, it is what it is. Like,
so it goes.
So yeah, like, time for life to serve me up another challenge to prove that I am the person that I tell my friends I am. Like, I have to prove the walk. Like, I have to go out there and handle some adversity, take it on the chin, and not crumble from it. And that's been my mindset for the last, like, good handful of years, probably the last, like, 7 years, I'd say.
Nice.
And it just takes difficult things and makes them so like I cannot be bothered by them. Like, if I had to choose between dealing with multiple phone calls with different insurance companies, trying to schedule claims, trying to schedule repairs, trying to see how much money I'm going to owe because of this accident that I did, or fighting for my last dying breath on my deathbed, I'm going to choose the phone calls with the insurance companies, like 10 times out of 10.
It's just annoyances, but life's full of them.
Yeah.
So what?
That perspective, it's trivial. If I had the choice, I had a button in front of me on my deathbed that I could press and go back to that point in my life where I am dealing with frustrating phone calls. Oh my God. I would be jumping for joy to be in 405 rush hour traffic. Like, I would want nothing more than to have dental work done on me. Like, all the horrific things in life are so much sweeter when you recognize that all of this is finite and this is your one go, and you're still, for the most part, depending on who you are, like, youthful and have a bunch of life ahead of you and a bunch of memories.
Able-bodied, period.
Yes, 100%.
You know?
And so those are the things that, I don't know, maybe it's a different form of practicing gratitude or whatever it is, but those are the things that make the hardships in life, like, so easy, like, just for the lack of better term. Like, I watch people who get so frustrated because, in my opinion, they haven't done enough introspection or they haven't calibrated themselves enough. They get so bent out of shape over the smallest things. Yeah. Where they're like, oh my gosh. That guy. Yeah. It happens. And I'm not saying that I never have been there, like, but there are people who are like 10, 20, 25 years older than me who are children. Like, they can't, they literally cannot look within. I don't know if it's just, like, out of pure fear or disgust or whatever.
Or they just never had a good example. Like, you know, the people they've been surrounded with are all also, because that's one thing I think, if you're kind of, a lot of people like that are surrounded by people like that are also older, like, within their family. Yeah. And it's like, well, if they're not putting in the work, this person grew into adulthood and established that that's not even something to consider. This is just who they are. This is how they are. This is how people are. And I think it creates a lot of disconnects between different people with different upbringings, because they just get so set in their own lifestyle that it's like NPC conversations when they cross paths. Yeah. You know, it's really hard to communicate, even though you both speak English.
Right. Yeah, I know. Well, there's a difference between, I guess, communicating and speaking. Like, there's two different things.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a generational curse of, my parents were like not me speaking, but just like someone in general being like, my parents were horrifically non-critical thinkers, and so I'm a horrific non-critical thinker, and I will raise horrific non-critical thinkers, and so on and so forth, until some sort of life event or outside force or horrible trauma like changes something with someone, where a switch flips and they decide that they're gonna be the one to stand out and do something differently.
Break the mold,
But
break the trend.
But even so, to again like kind of reel it back to your point, like it's fun to post all the fun that I have with my friends on social media, but myself and my friends, we all struggle with our own inner battles, our own insecurities, our ways that we feel like we don't measure up to other people. It's all a comparison game, and it all depends on like where you're looking. And thankfully, at least I'll just speak only for myself, but thankfully I'm mature enough and can do hard things enough to the point where now I am comfortable with filtering people in and out of my life, kind of like no matter who you are. It's really come down to like, do you have good character? Do you have good intentions in life? Are you capable of owning up when you make a mistake? And are you like a generous personality, rather than like not generous in a monetary sense, but generous in like if I don't have money to give you, I'll give you my time, I'll give you my kindness, I'll give you my efforts. Like I'll be there for you. I'll be a shoulder to cry on or an ear to listen to, or you know, if you're down on your luck, I'll buy your food, like stuff like that, where it's like there's so many different ways of being generous. And so those are like the qualities that I tend to look for. And if I feel like I'm around someone who isn't like that, then you know, obviously everybody deserves like a couple chances to prove themselves, but if you consistently are problematic, then I just don't spend my time with that person anymore. Like I probably would have when I was younger, when I was like worried about validation from people that I looked up to for the wrong reasons, where I'm like, oh, you know, you're a badass, even if that means you have toxic behavior, and I want to win you over. And so I'm going to hang around you, even though I don't morally agree with what you do.
I'm gonna fit in.
100%. Like if they think I'm cool, then I'm finally cool. And yeah, I don't know. I think funny enough, like this kind of intertwines a little bit with two of the conversations we've had so far, but I think that for someone to be cool or to look cool on the outside, I genuinely, funny enough, think half of the battle is if you are seen as if you fit within the beauty standard. I think if it's that old meme where the like handsome worker leans into the cubicle and he's like, "Hey, Susan," and she's like, "Hey, Jeff," and then the same like, and then the other coworker, he's like the fat, bald, weird one, and he's like, "Hey, Susan," and she's like, HR. It's the same thing where it's like if you fit into that beauty standard, then you kind of get like unearned cool points. Like there are things that Timothy Chalamet will do, or Jacob Elordi will do, that, or Sydney Sweeney, that they get cool points for, that if any other average person did, they'd get cringe points for.
Yeah, it's pretty privileged.
Still, it is. And
it's
so
just a further iteration of that.
I think a lot of people who have
so what you're telling me is you guys are all just attractive. That's
well,
it.
funny
That's
enough, no. I do think a lot of my friends are very attractive, and I think I'm adult enough to acknowledge that. But I think that what I'm saying essentially is like a lot of my friends have some unearned cool points from an external point of view, where it's like, oh, well, it looks like they're having fun, but they're also around like good looking dudes and pretty girls, and like they're dancing and having a good time. But like that's just, if you just like wipe that away, it's just we're just dancing to songs that we like. And I think that a lot of people who have their moral compass they have their heart in the right place, but I don't think they have a realistic idea of the world. They have this vendetta that they're going to change the beauty standard, where they're like, oh, well, what if we just made everyone beautiful? Then those unearned cool points would wash away and everyone would be equal. Like this idea of this egalitarian society where everyone's treated the same. And that's where the whole like fat is beautiful movement comes from. And that whole thing where it's like, personally, I don't think this is where I think the disconnect is with that. I don't think that the beauty standard is some like cultural made up societal thing. I don't think it's like I don't think that we just arbitrarily choose what fits within the beauty standard. I think that we are ape meat machine robots with inherent instincts that tell us what's attractive. And basically we're looking to mate. We're looking for a mate that shows like reproductive promise. And so our bodies are fine-tuned to recognize signs of someone being a good mate. And that is why men like hourglass shapes or large breasts or whatever, and women like broad shoulders. And like, these aren't coincidences. Like nature is set up for a way for each species to know what a good mate looks like so that they have the highest chance of having offspring. We are no different than that. And so you won't be changing the beauty standard anytime, because the beauty standard is innate. It's the hardware. It's not the software. People think it's the software because it's an abstract idea, but it's baked into the hardware. You would literally need to physically change the human brain on like a genome editing level in order to actually change the beauty standard. Yeah. And
that's why I think, I'm sorry, I just wanted to throw this in there. Yeah, that's why I feel like societal norms, whatever you want to call them, like the fashion industry and who's like the perfect person to be hired as a model, all of that, that exists. Not like they have it backwards. They think that our beauty standards within ourselves comes from that, but no, that comes from us. Yes. We made that, and there's a reason it's across the board.
Yes, correct.
And even when I'm just going to throw it out there. Some of the horniest dudes you'll meet are old guys. Yeah. Some of the most blatant, like, no filter, I'm going to, tell this girl that she looks good right now, guys. They're older guys from a different generation. Right. Where modesty was normal. Modesty was kind of expected back then. So I doubt, there was pinup girls, and I'm sure that was something people got a lot of slack for hanging up in their garage. Yeah. But back then, from everything you hear, it wasn't a time like now. Right. Like now is crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
Comparatively, now is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, there's tweets that blow up all the time where someone's like, I had to work my ass off to get the pictures that y'all just be posting.
Yeah, and it's true, dude. But, some of these old guys, they still act that way. Yeah. And they probably always have. And it's like, dude, it's not like back then they had all of this, what we have now, enabling and encouraging that. Right. No, they were the guys that eventually pioneered Victoria's Secret or whatever you're seeing with all the magazines and the stuff that people might, this is unrealistic beauty standards. No, it's just
beauty standards.
It's just beauty standards.
Yeah, like people are always going to find certain things attractive. And I think there are like cultural differences across the board. Like different nations and different peoples have historically found different things attractive. I mean, like in the Victorian era, like men were wearing wigs and dresses, and that was seen as royalty, therefore status, therefore attractive. But like we're layering cultural things on top of an inherent bedrock foundation of attractiveness. Like I personally believe that the clear case is that like when men look for and I think this happens whether you are conscious of it or not, but when men look for a mate, they are essentially looking for someone who is childbearing. Like you are looking for someone who is healthy, who can have children, who and essentially we don't even realize we're looking for it, but who looks fertile. Like that's what our brain is hardwired to look for. It is so much different for women, and that's because we do our best as a society to try to make like the playing field equal for everyone, no matter what, and we do a pretty good job of it. In my personal opinion, I think so too. I think people would disagree with that statement, but I think that they're not checked into reality. I agree. I think we do a pretty solid job of that. We're not perfect, and I don't know if we ever will be. But all that to say, the closer you get to biology, the less equality there is, because biology doesn't give a fuck about equality. Biology only cares about one thing, and that is reproduction. Can you keep the chain going? And it will do it by any means necessary. If the woman seahorse has to get pregnant and then put the pregnant eggs into the male seahorse so then the male seahorse gives birth, then and that's what works, then it's going to do it. Like it doesn't care. And so the unfortunate truth is that when it comes to the process of reproduction for humans, it is unfavorable for the woman. Everyone knows this. Women have to go through periods. Women have to go through menopause. Women have to go through pregnancy. Women have to go through childbirth. Men don't have to deal with any of that shit.
Being a man's so easy.
It's so easy.
Oh, I love it.
It's so unfair. And we got lucky with the dice roll. Like, that's all it came down to. But because of that difference, you have to acknowledge that there will be differences in what a ape like ourselves is looking for in a mate. When we look for a mate, we look for just basically the qualities of like, are you capable of having my child, and are the odds good that that child will come out healthy?
Yeah.
And then our instincts have hardwired into us what those physical traits look like, and we don't even realize that's what we're doing. We just see something and we go, me likey, and that's as complex as the thought gets. For women, it's different, and that's because when you are in the process of reproduction, unfortunately, it is a essentially like year-long process. You have to have conception, and then the 9 months of childbearing, and then childbirth and all this stuff. So,
and the way it affects them too, like hormonally, like inside, dude, it's a whole, it's a life-altering event.
Yes, entirely. And because of that, and this is the other thing that we need to take into account in the conversation, is that all of these things were drummed into us through evolution when we were hunter-gatherers for hundreds of thousands of years. We have been these like primitive cavemen for the overwhelming majority of our timeline, and then this little sliver of modernity has been human history.
Yeah.
This is what our body is acclimated to. This is what our body is used to. Our body is not adjusted for modern life at all. That's why sitting is just as bad as cigarettes for you over the long term, for your heart health and for your overall aging and joints and muscle and all that stuff. Like, we're not built to be living this cushy, comfy utopia life that we've built. And because of that, you have to think about every single thing that's hardwired into us through instinct is through the lens of a caveman, essentially.
Yeah.
Back in those times, you were constantly under the thumb of Mother Nature, whether it be other predators or natural disasters, famine, disease, injury, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Something that was trying to fucking kill you every day, and you were doing your best not to die.
All you could do is survive.
Yeah. And
all you could do, and it takes work.
Yes, 100%.
It takes a lot of work.
It takes 16 hours of work and then 8 hours of sleep, and then doing it again every damn day. And then at the same time, when you were having children back then, you would have like 7 and hope that 3 survived. Like, that was how it was. The average age back then is like in the 30s.
We were truly animals.
It was animalistic. It was a nightmare, and we have amnesia as a species because we don't remember any of it. We think that this is how things are, and we think it's never been worse. We think things that should be better. We are doing great.
We're in America's 250th year.
Yeah, exactly.
We just entered America's 250th year.
Yeah.
Like, we're a baby.
Egypt's been around for fucking millennia, and we're barely crossing our first quarter.
Like, we got like great-great-grandparents that founded this nation, homie. Like, it's that's not even a statement that's false.
Yeah,
there's people that's great-great-grandparents, if not just even in crazy cases, great-grandparents were like seriously around with
like
that
the building
generation.
blocks.
You know,
and so funny enough, I'm bringing all this up, but it has to do with beauty standards, and the reason that I bring it all up is because when you are a pregnant woman in caveman times and everything is trying to kill you, you are vulnerable as can be. You can't run. You are constantly sick and exhausted and going through a war within your body. So what women look for in hardwired attraction is a provider, a protector, some man who wants that woman to survive through childbirth because that is his baby in there. Like, that's how that works. And so women look for someone who is capable, confident, strong, physically and emotionally, successful, because if they have access to resources, then those things can be used to take care of her and protect her during that time. And thankfully, we have built a modern society where we have safety nets and we have networks and we have programs to where a woman can go through all of this entirely alone and not worry about a jaguar coming out of the jungle and killing her at night, or her breaking her ankle and that is the end of her life because she can't do anything about it. So it's great that nowadays we don't need a man to be the savior of every woman. We have outgrown that as a society. However, that does not mean that it has been removed from the woman's internal beauty standards.
Yep, absolutely.
And so whether they realize it or not, whether they acknowledge it or not, those are the evolutionary qualities that are driving what makes a woman find a man attractive. Yeah. And so
that's why traditional marriages are the way they look.
Right.
And why we call them traditional.
Yes, exactly.
Is because it's, it's not just traditional in the sense of like, oh, the 60s. It's traditional in the sense of like, no, this is just animal, like not even just human nature. It's animalistic nature for animals that do like stay mated for life. The few species that do that.
Right. And we're not even that good at it.
And we're not exactly. I was about to say the percentage there kind of reflects all of humanity. But the few animals that do kind of remain that way, there's a reason that humans have a very similar setup. It's just I don't think people often think about it deep enough.
No, they don't.
To start putting together the pieces that way.
Well, yeah, because people get so frustrated at this idea that if you acknowledge that women naturally find provider men attractive, that they think that you're like perpetrating some like patriarchy,
white savior.
Or like I want to put a woman back in the kitchen and take away her voting rights. When in reality, it's just like I know what y'all like. Like that's how it works. Because if you look at a man through an evolutionary perspective, that's why they're these horn dogs that only care about sex and don't stick around for the baby, because that's literally just the hardwire brain that they've been given. Obviously, we have enough like capability within ourselves to build ourselves up into a good man who doesn't operate like a fucking ape,
like a mindless animal,
like a cretin,
instinctive, nothing but instinct and
exactly. And so thankfully we've moved past that, but the instincts are there to do that, and in the same way that the instincts are there when it comes to female attraction. And I think that for me personally, like all I did was acknowledge the reality and then go, okay, let me just lean into those qualities, and then women will find me attractive. And that's literally how it works. Like it's never been so clear to me personally. And like, that's why you'll see girls talk about how, and granted it's with a grain of salt, but they'll talk about how they're like, oh, like, guys are so obsessed with girls that look like Victoria's Secret models, but in reality, like women like a dad bod. And in reality, the dad bods that they point out are packed with muscle and then have a like good layer of fat on them, but the silhouette is of a strong man. Yeah. And that's why they're like, oh, well, I don't care for a guy that looks like this. And it's like some like super crazy bodybuilder with a ton of like striations in their muscles and all this stuff, because they're like, that looks like freaky and off-putting to me. It's like
it's uncanny valley.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, exactly.
Once again, it's like just steroids.
It's a little too much. Yeah.
It's just straight up roids.
Yeah. And so that's too much. But if that dude put on like 20 pounds of fat, they love him. And it's because he's strong, and that's what they're looking for. And so I've done my best to like build myself up to be a person who like what used to be like criminally skinny. And so I was like, all right, give me a year of like just focusing on putting on muscle mass. And then I fucking became sedentary and put on some fat on top of it. And then I was like, okay, I also need to have, what's the modern equivalent of resources? Money. So you need to get a good job that is consistent, and that is a representation of resources. And then if you build yourself up into a man who has emotional regulation and confidence in himself, then you exude that in your speech and your behavior. Yeah. But all that to say, again, long tangent, but
I love it.
It is the beauty standard cool points that people get in an unfair way, where a lot of the times there's this tweet that gets recycled all the time, and it's so true, and it's such a fun representation of this idea, where they say like one of the hottest people you ever known at a party where they don't know anyone, and then they put a quote and they're like, everyone here is so nice. It's like, of course they're so nice. You look fucking gorgeous. They want to be nice to you. Like everything inside them is telling them to be nice to you, whether it be a man or a woman.
Yeah. It's dude, even at work, I'm not going to mention any names, but I am open about that I work in Hollywood.
Right.
But even at work, dude, I work with a bunch of blue collar dudes, you know, and there's stories about blue collar dudes, and I can't say that all of them are super inaccurate, but some of them, like, you know, we're so used to being around a bunch of men, you'll see these guys just total grumpy, totally dicks to everybody, and then one pretty girl walks by, and you see like a whole different side of this person, and it's, you know, the same thing, you know.
And from that pretty girl's perspective, that's how he is.
Yeah. Pretty girls are always happy at work, and it's because I know everybody is like
So nice to them.
Is just super nice to them. Probably like, you know, oh, can I get the door for you? Oh, hey, do you want something to drink? I'm going to, you know, like, but that's, you know, it's
all a part of it. Yeah.
That's all it is. You know?
My whole thing is, I think that people should stop trying to change beauty standards because they can't be changed.
They can't.
And they should just start getting good at the game. That's my perspective. If you're upset that your coworker gets nicer treatment from other coworkers or from your manager, is that unfair on paper? Yes, of course it is. It's unfair. Yeah. So you have two options. You either completely outwork them and become this like employee that is so undeniably talented that they have to give you your flowers, or you recognize the fact that probably it's because they're hot, and if you want that same treatment, then you need to get hot too. Like that's just how it works. And I genuinely think that I think that 90, as long as you have like no real like physical deformities, I think that everyone can be hot.
I agree.
I think that there are like a basic checklist where it's like have straight and like white teeth, have like a good haircut, and have like a good muscle mass to body fat ratio. And that's half of the fucking battle. Like, you know, take care of yourself, like try to have like try to be clean, have clothes that fit you well and that are
don't
that
stink.
Look nice. Yeah, don't stink.
Do not stink. Stinking is bad.
If everyone did that, everyone would be hot.
Yeah,
that's just how it is. Like,
and when everybody's hot,
nobody
is.
That's funny. Yeah, but I think that's just like the name of the game. And there's so many people that are like, beauty standards are a societal concept that we need to deconstruct.
Yeah,
it's like you will not win that battle. Like Lizzo's a perfect example of this woman who has spent years parading around this idea that if you are massively obese, that it's still equally as attractive. Yeah. Everyone knows it's not the case. If you, whether you say it out loud or you say it under your breath or say it in private, nobody is going to be like, yeah, I wish she was 30 pounds heavier. Like nobody says that. Nobody should say that about anyone. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
And so she goes on this whole thing, tries to, you know, back this entire movement about this. And then what is she doing now? Losing all the weight. She is posting her, like her progress and all this stuff. And the thing is, that's good. Like everyone's cheering her on. Yes.
It's not just a thing about looks too. Like that's one thing that has been due to cancel culture. You couldn't talk about that for a long time.
No, absolutely not. Even if you're an average person.
Yeah. If you were to say like, hey guys, I don't know if enabling and supporting these people to remain unhealthy in the name of not in the name of them not feeling ugly.
Yeah,
and like, you know, it's like, I don't know if that's really a good idea. And then it's like, oh, you're canceled. You're evil. And it's like, no, I really actually just care about this person and want them to live the longest, healthiest life possible.
Yeah.
And even if I don't know them personally, I just can't in good faith. Like it goes against my morals to go out and say like, oh yeah, I think it's good.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to say that she has to change if she doesn't want to, but it's like, you know, it's undeniable. Obesity it's a health concern.
Yeah, 100%. It's the same exact reason that like if someone's like missing teeth or they're falling out of their mouth, like that's a health concern. And therefore our instincts find it unattractive. Like there are things that we do to our bodies that aren't correlated with health concerns at all. Like I have earrings in. Like these are a form of jewelry, but if we were evolutionarily like taught that if someone has something wrong with their earlobes and they look imperfect, then there's a huge sign that they are like diseased or dying or infertile, then nobody would have earrings.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
our instincts would say icky, gross, no,
Yeah.
yucky. And we wouldn't know why unless you dove into the science of it all and the psychology and the neurology and all that stuff.
It's even like stretched ears, dude. I'm so turned off by stretchers.
I am as well.
And I think it is just like kind of that uncanny valley thing.
Yeah.
Like that right there, what you got in, you got some gold hanging from your ear, but it doesn't reshape your ear
I could take
whatsoever.
it off. I could take it off and I'd have a little dot for the
A
rest
little
of my
dot
life.
that looks like a natural blemish on a human face. Like you see this thing right here? It's a big red dot on my forehead, dude. That it's acne.
Yeah.
And I don't really care.
I didn't even notice it.
Well, now you do. Everybody does.
Well, funny enough, I have, and I don't know, I'll kind of lean a little into the camera, but I don't know if you can see it, but I have a hole up here on my ear and another one on the same spot on my ear. And those holes, everyone, all of my hairdressers, all of my barbers, like former lovers, like anyone who's gotten close enough to me to see those are like, "Do you have your ears pierced?" Nope. I was just born with those holes in my cartilage, but they look like where a piercing would have gone.
Interesting.
And it's just a natural thing in the body.
Remember the first years of your life? Are you sure you were?
Well, funny enough, my cousin has the same thing.
Were you guys in some program?
Right?
Have you noticed
some
any
MK Ultra?
Have you noticed any supernatural abilities that you're able to
I
perform?
wish.
That'd be sick.
I wish I wouldn't have a job. I'd be a fucking circus clown.
I'd get if I was like some sort of mutant, had powers. I'd be like an anti-hero, dude. I'd mix it up until the government got me.
Until the government got me?
It'd be a short life, but it'd be good.
That's so funny. I know. I think I'd just go straight circus clown. I think I would just like entertain people with this weird knack that I have, make a bunch of money off of it, and then never work again.
Pretend it's like a trick so nobody thinks you're actually enhanced.
So the government then doesn't get me.
Right.
Yeah. But, all right, let's see if I can reel it back in one more time.
Sorry.
No, this is just how conversations go.
I love it. That's how I talk a lot of the time too. I just jump around from thing to thing.
But I think I'm very lucky with the people that I have in my life. I think there is an aspect of truth to the we get to hang out, we have our fun, and blah blah blah. But I think like alongside the cushion of some little pretty privileged points, it is truly just like, okay, these are my people. They don't make me ever feel like ashamed for who I am or what I do. And so if I'm surrounded by them and they still love me, then I can pretty much do whatever sounds fun and not like worry, not have any voice in the back of my head, like eating me away. And don't get me wrong. Nobody's insecurities ever fully go away, I don't believe. Like, I think you can maybe eliminate some more minor ones entirely. There are definitely insecurities that I had that I probably couldn't even tell you now because I don't even think about them. But like the main ones, I don't think those ever go away. I think they just get quieter. Like the whole, do people like me? Am I enough? Did I embarrass myself? Stuff like that.
The more common ones.
Yes,
the ones that you see in TV most often.
Yeah.
The ones that are just, it's natural.
Yeah, and I think
natural human behavior.
I think you can see from the most successful to the most gorgeous to the most famous people, you can see even in interviews that they struggle with those things. Like you can like analyze the tweets of Elon Musk, who's worth $500 billion, and go like, this guy is desperate for validation.
He's so self-conscious.
He wants to be liked.
Yeah,
and he has like overwhelmingly exceptional abilities when it comes to like leading businesses and starting up engineering like programs.
He's a genius.
Yeah,
a true genius. Yeah, a modern day Einstein, dang near.
Yeah, he's a living historical figure, and he is also clearly insecure. So is Jeff Bezos. You can tell the way that he roids out and he puts a fucking plastic woman on his arm and he's surrounding himself with
even
all
his
these
little
things.
Space program. Dude, just to get into the very edge of what they consider space to set some record or whatever. It's like
you can tell he's grasping for straws with certain aspects of his life. And funny enough, like I love it. Like and it's not like coming from some like petty perspective. I'm like, yeah, I want the billionaires to suffer. I'm not that type of person. But it is just nice. It's kind of like validating to the human condition, where you see, like you have these thoughts to yourself late at night when you're alone, where you're like, if I just had $1 billion, like all of this would fucking go away.
Yeah.
And then you see people with hundreds of those, and it's not gone. They're still struggling with it, and you're like, oh my god. So that's not the answer. You know, if I just had millions of fans, then that would do it. And then you see like Justin Bieber have a total fucking crash out and lose his mind, and you're like, oh, okay, so that doesn't solve the problem either.
Even look at, I feel like a great example of that one's Michael Jackson, dude.
Oh, 100%.
Because Michael Jackson was
a god.
The king of pop. Even now, high acclaim.
Yeah.
One of the greatest musicians ever, according to a lot of people, most people, I'd say.
According to most people, yeah.
And that dude went through the ringer towards the end of like his life
days.
When he was, all the controversies were coming out.
100%.
And then he was under a lot of scrutiny. He turned to, he didn't have the skills to deal with all of that from the childhood he lived.
No, he was level 1 novice with all of that.
With pretty much everything except making music.
Yeah, being a performer.
Being a performer and making music, like, it was really, I feel like that's a really tragic case of it, obviously.
Absolutely.
But it also is really, like you were saying, reassuring of, oh, hey, they might be these giant figures that everybody knows and they seem bigger than life, but they're not.
Yeah,
they're human.
Yeah, they have left a legacy and they've left an impact on society, but in terms of like the human condition, they still suffer from the same exact things that you and I suffer from without ever having to worry about building such gargantuan legacies.
And having so much more external pressure, dude. Yeah. Once you're a celebrity,
of course,
and you
have eyes on you.
Even before social media, it was bad enough with paparazzi.
Yeah.
And now it's like, hey, if you're famous, you pretty much just shouldn't sign in online. You should never search your own name. Doesn't matter how many people are saying nice things about you. We're human, and the first sign of somebody saying something mean, you're gonna not like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. You forget 10 positive things said about you, and you'll get burned into your memory the one negative thing. Like it's again another aspect of human nature. I think so many like people would have a more like calm and centered perspective on life if they understood way more about our biology and our instincts.
Yeah.
I think so much of it can be explained away by stuff like that. And because a lot of people just attribute their struggles to them not being enough or to society beating them down, when in reality, this is just what it means to be a human being.
Yeah.
And if you could swallow that hard truth, everything becomes immensely easier.
Yeah.
So much of the weight that you self-impose gets lifted.
Because then you're operating in a space that is real. It's based in reality, or what we believe to be reality, you know. But it's not like, because that's to what you're saying. When you finally, oh man, I don't even have the words, but I freaking feel you so much right now. Speaking my mind, my soul. No, but it is just, you got to be real with everything in life and the way you approach things, and have more of an open mind to those kinds of ideas of, hey, maybe this really is just what it is to be human, because then you're not fighting your natural nature. Yeah. And to fight like what is natural, that's like going outside and swinging at raindrops because you want a dry day. Yeah. You know,
that's a good analogy.
It doesn't work. It's the same thing. You're not gonna, everybody always wants to have a wild animal, a crazy big cat as a pet. Yeah. Oh, dude, if you got like a baby panther and you could raise a panther, and it's like, dude, it doesn't matter if you're the only thing that animal has ever seen. It's going to get big enough and hungry enough, and you're not going to have enough money to put another whole cow in front of it for the day. And its instinct from the entire history of Earth that it has existed is going to be to kill and eat you. Yeah, 100%. And then to go and find someone else to kill and eat until it is not hungry anymore. Yep. If it's not hungry, it doesn't have anything to worry about, but you can't, we're still animals. Yes, and it's absolutely the same thing. You can't train that out of yourself. No. You could try and try and try. It's only going to lead to more pain in your life.
Well, yeah, you'll lose that battle every time. Like the world and life just doesn't care. Like, you'll lose that battle every time.
We could talk about life in our 20s. All right.
Oh, interesting. I like that.
Especially, this is one that I've really wanted to talk to people about my age, because obviously I'm like, I don't want to say ahead because I don't want to, it makes me feel bad like I'm telling other people they're behind. But the way I try to explain it is, you're not behind. I am literally just ahead.
Yeah.
You know, for my age in the current day.
Yeah, there's an average.
Yeah.
And you're either ahead of it, behind it, or right on it.
Yeah. So
that is what it is. That's how life is.
Yeah, pretty much. Are you 28 just like me? Or 20? Okay, so we're both 28.
Yeah.
You've got a pretty steady job going right now, right? And my job, I don't know if I'd call it always the most consistent, because I work in Hollywood. It's based on the nature of the business, but I've done really well for myself. I've made a good name for myself, and I've stayed busy. You know, since the strike ended, a lot of people have struggled to keep consistent jobs. I haven't.
Yeah.
You know, I've quit jobs and still ended up in better spots. You know, I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm riding the wave, dude, and I'm not letting my work ethic fall off, all that. That's a whole different conversation, though.
Yeah. But you have value, and they recognize that, and they want it.
Mm-hmm. But work stuff aside, just being the age that we're at, and like thinking back to our parents, most of our parents owned homes.
Yeah.
At like before our age, and you know.
Yeah.
I was 2 days past turning 26 when I moved in here and started paying a mortgage, you know, which is really young in the modern day to be doing that.
Yes.
And
far ahead of average.
It takes a lot of work to maintain. I'm not going to act like it doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
My mortgage is like 3 times my parents, just about.
Yeah,
because
that makes sense.
They've been in since 1990 or whenever they bought, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just something that I don't have anybody my age to relate to on homeowner stuff. I can relate to people older than me all day.
Right.
But it's something that, like, when I talk to my friends and I have friends over and stuff, it's interesting because I guess me going from living at home to getting my career where it became like something I could realistically consider, you know, with the way my parents were helping me out, not really charging me rent and stuff. It's like, oh, I could save up and make a down payment, dude.
Yeah.
I could do what...
You were in a lucrative position.
I was in a very fortunate, you know, I'll call it privileged, but it's just because of who I was born to.
Of course.
You know, they did that dream, the dream of setting your kid up. Yeah. My parents achieved that with me. Absolutely.
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, that's the fucking goal.
It's super cool.
There should be no guilt around that. Like,
yeah.
I think it's awesome.
It's something that, like, when you know, you and, like, Joel, I've talked to Joel and Dylan about it a little bit. Mostly you and Joel, I've seen like more of that desire that you do want to own a home. It's something you guys think about a little more, but you're also realistic for the times.
Right. Yeah.
Which is why you guys live the way you do. And you guys have a pretty good, I feel like you guys have a good setup going with that place you got. You guys got a cool spot.
I love our house. We have we have like a 5-bed, 3-bath, and like it's split amongst 5 people. Like and
you guys all get along too. So,
you know, there's always going to be your little roommate things, but like those are my best friends. Like it's
it happens when you live with anybody. If you live with a partner, with your family, with roommates, you're gonna butt heads from time to time. It's human. Yeah, animals do it too. You know, you see animals get in fights all the time, but. It's just interesting, like, because especially with some of my other friends who, you know, they're not doing bad in life. They're paying rent. They live in apartments, and they still treat themselves and live life. It's just so interesting to me, I guess, like, man, that's really just kind of the times we live in where not a lot of people get to live the way I live at my age. You know, even beyond my age, you know, something's got to change, right?
Right.
Something's got to give, but because even as we get older, it's like people are getting into established jobs, and it's still hard. At least in California too.
Absolutely. Like I make decent money. Like I would never say that I am struggling, and I'm nowhere near home ownership. Like every decent house out here is gonna cost you minimum $400,000, if not hovering around $500,000. Yeah. And if you're looking to put a 10% down payment on something like that, you are going to need to save up $40,000 to $50,000, and then be able to maintain a $2,500, maybe $3,000, depending on your mortgage interest rate, monthly payment. Like that is a lot of money. And that's a lot of money to me, let alone someone else who is making significantly less than me.
Yeah.
So it's just, the era we're living in, like there was a golden era of prime time to be a homeowner, and that time has passed, and now it is hyper competitive. And if you can do it because of your setup, then you fucking do it. And
You have to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is what it is. And like the more that I think about homeownership, like it is something that I do want, but obviously I'm 28, so but like my expectation for myself to do it in my 20s has like completely melted away.
Yeah.
Like I don't, for all the goals that I have in life, just to, stay fulfilled and be happy, like none of them require me to own the place that I live in.
Yeah.
I can still pay rent and I can still do all of those things that I want to do. And I love the idea of the home ownership and being able to like basically customize my home in any way that I like.
Yeah.
But that isn't enough to make me save up 50 grand to get myself into a big payment.
Yeah.
But my focus is kind of elsewhere. Like I've been a lot more oriented on investing. Like
Okay.
My goal is I have like my personal investing accounts and then my like 401k, and my goal with both of those is like by the time I'm 65, I'm looking at multiple millions and I'll do whatever I want.
Gotcha. Okay.
But whether I'm owning a home or not, like if I'm still paying a manageable payment and I'm in an area that I like and I'm doing something I enjoy, then I don't care. Like,
Okay.
I'll be good.
I hear you.
But if I'm in a prime situation where, because of the investment choices that I've made, and then we see like due to whether that be a huge increase in supply or a drop in demand, a lowering of housing prices, then I will be looking to buy. But
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. I don't.
You're not going to live your life with expectations
No.
of the world shifting to what you want to
Right.
see.
I'm not holding my breath. I'm
Yeah.
going to do what I think is going to get me ahead and get ahead.
Yeah. I've shifted myself. I mean, obviously it helps when I'm just living the life where I am paying these big bills, and it's like,
Yeah.
I got big adult responsibilities the way that we always thought of it as kids.
Yeah. Adulting.
And I'm adulting.
Yeah.
And I'd say just through the process of that, probably pretty early on, I kind of adapted to a similar mindset as that in a way, but like kind of just for the world at large, that like it is the way it is, and I can either sit here and cry about how we got to do something about it. And I do kind of, when I look at it sometimes, it's like for the sake of an overall societal thing, like something's got to happen with like job opportunities, like the amount of money that's available for, I guess, the common folk. It feels like there's some stuff there that maybe we got to address, because a lot of it just keeps going higher and higher. It's less for us, but at the same time, you still see plenty of people living just fine.
Yeah.
Whether they've just been at one job forever and they're making a bunch of money, but no, I feel like the way you're living is good, because it's like the world is the way the world is. What can we change as an individual? Sure, if we all banded together and put our foot down, like, no, we need affordable housing for the next generation. We need people to be able to own this stuff. Maybe we could start a revolt and change everything. Do we think we will ever have that level of cooperation? I don't.
Well, no. And just because like, okay, sure, everyone agrees and puts their foot down. Now what? Like, do you actually have a solution that is going to make housing prices go down? Like, you have to understand what makes them go up if you're going to understand what makes them go down. And most people don't understand. This is my biggest beef with online activists and in real life activists is I do not give a fuck if you do not like how things are going right now. If you do not have a offered working solution to what the problem is, then you're crying. You're not providing anything that is actually going to help anyone.
Yep.
And the problem is, I specifically say working solution because a lot of people think, for instance, that the answer to poverty is a big giant Robin Hood comes around and accumulates all the wealth and then gives it to everyone. But if you study any person who is an average Joe who comes across a huge swath of wealth, whether that be through a athlete's contract or lottery or inheritance or what it may be,
Yeah.
these people get a ton of money, blow it, and then go broke.
Yep.
So this whole idea that like if we could take Elon Musk's like $600 billion and just take it from him, which already doesn't work because people don't know how liquefying assets work, and then just throw it at each person. If you divvy up 600 billion amongst 340 million Americans, it's far less money than you think you would actually get. And then from there on out, one, you have to know how to manage money. Most people don't. Most people, all they do is lifestyle inflation. If you make more money, you spend more money. If you make more money, you buy nicer things. And then you have, and like you're making suddenly $120,000 a year and you're living paycheck to paycheck. People who make $60,000 a year go, how could that happen? There's no way. In the same way that they're living paycheck to paycheck and someone who is making $30,000 a year is like, how could that happen?
Yeah.
It's the same exact thing.
So they just want that new car, dude. They just can't stop thinking of a nicer car.
100%. Nicer car. Oh, now I can afford an RV or a truck or a boat. Oh, now I can afford, a bigger house. I can move out of the one that I'm currently in into a nicer neighborhood that I've always wanted to live in.
Not worry about my spending.
Yeah, not look at price tags, buy drinks during dinner, like, the whole nine. And then you're at the end of the week and all your money's gone. Like, it is so easy. If you gave me $1 million, I could spend $1 million. Like, it's not hard.
I could probably spend it before the night's over. Realistically,
100%.
I'd go and find some really big, cool stuff, and I'd have some big, cool stuff by Monday.
Yep, it would be on its way. Yeah, and like, so I don't think people have this idea that you can just throw money at problems and then it's going to solve the problems. It is not the case. It would be the biggest, like, tragic destruction of wealth if we like sacked the top 5 billionaires and then redistributed all that money to uneducated people.
Yeah.
First of all, not only would they not know how to manage their money, but imagine, so prices of anything are, for the most part, decided by supply and demand.
Yeah.
So, which means we live in a world where I want that can of root beer and you want that can of root beer. I'm willing to pay $11 for it and you're willing to pay $10. So the market price of that is $11 because I outbid you for it. People don't realize that they do this, but they do this. Every single time they agree to purchase something that is on a shelf, they are saying, I believe the value of that thing is worth more than the dollar amount that I'm paying for it. Have you ever heard someone say it's too expensive? They say it's not worth it. That's what that means. So you vote with your dollars on what you believe something should cost. Imagine now if we somehow made it to where everyone got $1 million overnight and I want that root beer and I have $1 million and you want that root beer and you have $1 million, we're going to go to fucking war for that root beer. I truly believe that most things would skyrocket in price if everyone was a millionaire overnight because there's a limited amount of things and an unlimited amount of wants. And so everyone is going to go ham for the top tier things. You think just because you have $1 million now, there's any less people who want a Ford Raptor? No.
Yeah.
Now there's probably more people who want a Ford Raptor. And if there's only so many Ford Raptors, you're going to have to bid for it.
Yeah.
And you're going to lose to someone who's willing to spend the entire $1 million they just got on the Ford Raptor because it's the thing they want the most.
We have so many examples of this already too with like small consumer products, Pokemon cards.
Yes, absolutely.
PlayStation 5s.
Yes.
You know, all
absolutely.
of this stuff that even though it's not like you don't have to be a millionaire to get it, you still can't get it for regular MSRP price because it's like it's already happening, dude. Enough people have enough money to buy this that now it is worth what you're willing to pay it to get it before they restock it and you're on top of the MSRP drop, and that's like a whole different fiasco.
Well, if you're buying a PS5 from a scalper at $900, then you are voting that it's worth $900.
You're saying scalping's okay.
Yeah, you are saying that I am willing to pay this, and so every single time a PS5 comes out for $500, that is $400 under market price.
Yeah.
That's how that works. If there is a limited supply and a shit ton of demand, it is a high price. Like, it's just basic economics. But nobody, including politicians, seem to understand basic economics, and they think that they can just write a law that says things have to be cheap, and then suddenly they're going to be cheap. That's not how it works. The only thing that you can do to lower the price of something, but if you're not going to lower the demand, is to be able to make more of them cheaper.
Yeah.
That's how it works. If everyone wants a Ford Raptor and you want the price of a Ford Raptor to go down, then Ford has to go build 10 more factories that build just Ford Raptors. And then, because we have so much of a supply and such a streamlined, large volume production line, you'll finally get a cheap Ford Raptor.
Yeah.
But that would require so much investment and a risk on Ford, because what if the next year everyone wants a Chevy?
Yeah.
They just wasted all of their money building these factories for a product that nobody wants.
Yeah.
And so it just always, it frustrates the fuck out of me whenever people are like, oh, you know, Elon Musk could solve world hunger if he just paid $6 billion a year. And it's like, throwing money at this doesn't solve the problem. There are still all these hard problems. More, I guarantee you, millions, if not billions of dollars every year are thrown at world hunger.
Oh, yeah.
We still haven't fucking solved it. And that's not because there isn't enough money in the world. Our budget for our fucking government is trillions of dollars.
It's ridiculous.
$6 billion would be a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
We could solve world hunger like that if it was a money issue. If Trump came out today and was like, I'm going to raise taxes on everyone by I'm gonna raise taxes on everyone by 25 cents, and that well, let's do the math. 340 million people. To get $1 billion, you have to multiply by 3, and to get so you would need to do $3 a person, and then you'd have to multiply that by 6, so $18. If Trump said, I'm going to raise taxes on every American by $18.
Pretty good.
Just about $18 a year. We'll add the extra 40 cents that we're short for logistics.
Logistics.
If I'm going to charge everyone $18 a year, and we would completely eradicate world hunger. Would you be for that? Absolutely. Are you kidding me? It's like $1.15 a month.
Yeah.
And that subscription would solve world hunger. Every single fucking person
Dude, it's
would
literally
sign
the
up
commercials.
For that.
It's the old commercials.
Yes.
You can save a starving child for
Yes,
only $1
for pennies a day.
For a penny a day.
Yeah, literally. And but that's the thing. You don't even need to get people to volunteer. If you're the government, you can just say that we're fucking making you volunteer.
Yeah.
I am taking from here on out $18 a paycheck moving forward, or the top 50% of earners, we can cut out the entire bottom. We're going to charge you $36 a year to solve world hunger every year. And if it goes up $1 every year, fucking wham. By the end of my life, I'll be paying $100 a year. Still not a lot, especially with inflation. So,
and if that was actually like a result they could guarantee, all of our lives we would see the effects
immediately.
You know, like just going out in public and seeing less of what we see, to put it nicely, would, you know, people would spend good money for that. Yes,
absolutely.
You know?
But it's not as simple as just throwing money at it. The government absolutely could find a spare $6 billion. Fuck it, we could triple it to $18 billion. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
The money is there. The solutions aren't. It's not that simple. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
It is incredibly difficult to try to figure out the logistics of being able to feed billions of people across the world who don't have access, who don't have roads for you to drive the trucks with the food on, who don't have warehouses to store the food, who have corrupt governments that are purposefully trying to keep their people weak so that they can stay in power, who have like narco cartels who would much rather have that food for their groups than for the people. Like, all of these places where there are starving famines, most of the time it is because of horrific regimes that are keeping these people down, much more than it is that we just don't have money to buy them rice.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how it works.
That's funny. That brings another point. I love how this went from like buying homes in our 20s to like world hunger and just the way that
Economics.
supply and demand and economics and how it is all connected. But that brings up another thing that I think about a lot is, I think about the old joke of like, oh, first world problems.
Right.
And it kind of falls in line with that because people living in America, it cracks me up when people say America's a bad place to live or this or that. It's less common now because I think people have hopefully realized how silly it sounded.
Well, the trend died off.
A
little bit.
Did die off a little, but like you think of stuff like how you're just talking about in other countries where a narco regime is taking all of the resources for their own people that they've decided to protect, that they, they have that power and that influence. People just don't think about stuff like that because they live in America where we are extremely as far from that as you can get. About
we're living in this exceptional utopia that has been the exception to the rule of all of human history.
Yep. And since we are so in this age of convenience, as I call it, it's easy to start like when stuff isn't convenient. Humans' natural setting, the default setting is greed. The default setting is self-preservation. So even if these narco regimes, they might have a ton, they might not need those extra resources.
Right. No.
But in the landscape, that's not how they're operating, and it's not how they got there. They got there from the bottom, typically.
Right.
You look at Pablo Escobar. That dude wasn't always some rich.
He wasn't a nepo
shot.
baby. Yeah.
He grew this giant thing to a dastardly level.
Yeah.
And that's why he was so operated it the way he did, and the way that he was willing to kill kids on back to school shopping with the way when he did that. Just to send a message.
Right.
It's because this guy doesn't come from a land of like, oh, I love all my neighbors so much. He comes from a land of like dog eat dog.
Yeah.
And I'm going to eat these dogs so nobody eats me. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I don't know. I don't believe that anyone who thinks like, I don't believe anyone who thinks that we live in a bad time is well calibrated. I don't think that you have your head on straight.
Yeah.
Because I forget who I was listening to. I believe it was like a YouTube video, but someone was pointing out that it's not even accurate to say that we live like kings nowadays because the kings of the era that we think of when we think of kings didn't have plumbing, didn't have hot water, didn't have microwaves or refrigerators or internet or Amazon or any of these things. They didn't have cars. We live better than kings. We live so far past a king's imagination. Like I just don't think enough people understand what the default setting of the human race has been, which is anarchy and zero technology.
That's going to be that has to be somewhat the title of this episode.
Yeah.
Just default setting.
Yeah. It's just, they're entirely uneducated on history, on culture, on anthropology. They are missing the plot through and through. And like, sure, suffering is always going to be a part of life. Just because we live better than kings nowadays doesn't mean that you can't get depressed, doesn't mean that you can't have your struggles, doesn't mean that you won't be frustrated or cry or super mad. Like that's going to happen no matter how beautiful of a utopia we build. Like you are going to get cut off in traffic even if we have flying cars. Like you're going to have to fucking suck it up and have the right mindset to be able to handle it.
And even back then, I don't think kings were necessarily just happy-go-lucky.
Fuck no.
Look at the way they were killing and pillaging villages for their own gain, sure.
100%.
And they probably felt good when they gained, but there's a reason they don't stop.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason they don't hit a level of like, oh, I'm satisfied with the amount I have acquired. And happy people don't continue to burn down villages.
Yeah.
Maybe there is really just a disconnect with me there because that was so many hundreds, thousands of years ago,
right.
And I'm thinking like Egyptian pharaohs and stuff right now,
Well,
but
I mean, the most famous pharaoh of all, King Tut, died at what, like 14, I believe. He died super young of an infection. He got wounded and it got infected and he died. And he was the most powerful person in that society, and they couldn't even come close to saving him. I forget which president it was. So if someone's listening, they'd be able to Google it off the description here. But there was a U.S. president who his son was playing tennis and got a blister, and the blister got infected, and he died.
Oh my gosh.
Because we just didn't have the advanced antibiotics that we have nowadays. And that was the fucking president of the United States.
Yeah.
Like, nowadays, if I get a rusty nail through my fucking foot, I'm like, oh no, I need a shot. That would have,
and we get annoyed that we need the shot because that thing hurts.
Oh, my day sucks. Like,
this thing's my ass cheek's gonna be sore for the rest of the week.
Literally, that would have killed the Pharaoh of Egypt. Like, and to you, it's a minor inconvenience. Cold. Exactly. 100%.
Common cold is like the most easy to point out example.
Yeah, like nobody gets tuberculosis anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody's worried about like certain like smallpox epidemics. Like, all of these things have been absolutely erased by the beautiful modernity that we have built up.
Yeah.
And then there are people who have been locked up in their rooms their entire life, are horribly emotional, completely mismanage their mental health and emotional health, do not have the correct mindsets, are completely uneducated on how the world has come to where it is. And then they believe that they know how we should run the world.
Yeah.
They think that if we just viva la revolution and we burned it all down, they should be in charge.
Yeah.
Fuck no. We currently have a society for the most part, and it will never be able to build a perfect one, but we currently live in a metric system society. You get in what you put out. And if you want to be at the top, you got to outwork most of the people that are at the top, and they have worked really, really, really fucking hard, obsessively, to where they don't have a social life. Are you willing to do that? If not, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And even when it comes to the case of people who get their start from their parents, like, I think that's something people really have a hard time accepting, especially because there's literally nepotism laws. So it makes sense that people are like, oh, well, they shouldn't be able to. But at the same time, like what we were talking about earlier, that everybody would do it. Not a soul would not provide for their children in that way if they could.
Yeah.
And their kid's still going to have to work really hard to maintain if they are like a CEO of a business. That's not an easy position.
The business will fall if you suck at it.
Exactly. And it's like, yeah, it sucks when you're kind of feel like you're at the ground level looking up at these guys who it's not even their life's work. It's their family's life's work.
It's generations of work.
And it's like, you know, but still, people can make it. You could be a first generation guy who makes it in 2026.
Yeah.
And hopefully in, 100 years, the guy that you're looking at, like, dang it, why did he deserve all that from his parents? Like, that's your great grandkid or your grandkid, and you're like stoked. Yeah. You're ecstatic that you were able to do that.
100%. And most, I think they did a study, and here I go saying I think they did a study on a podcast, but I believe the understanding.
Jamie, can you pull that up?
Right, exactly. One day, the understanding is that I believe it's like 2 to 3 generations, and what most wealth is completely erased. Like,
really?
Yeah. I mean, you think about the like huge families of the oil baron days where, like, sure, currently you can point at the Rothschilds and they still have their wealth, and that's a very impressive feat that they've been able to maintain and manage it. But like Vanderbilt was the steel baron of the time, building the railroads, and now the only way people even know that name is because of the college, Vanderbilt University. Like, besides that, no one's going, the Vanderbilts, those billionaires, that's why I don't have any money. It's the fucking, people talk about the Waltons because they made Walmart, and I guarantee in fucking 3 generations, nobody's going to know who the Waltons are, because their kids are not going to be as like well equipped for that, and then their kids are going to be even less well equipped, and suddenly your last name's going to be Walton, and you're going to be working at the equivalent of Walmart, and that 100 to 120 years from now, and you're going to be like, apparently way back in the day my family was really fucking rich. Like, I'm sure I probably have some family members in my past that were ridiculously wealthy, or maybe I don't, who knows, but like that doesn't determine what I was born into and what I have to get going in order to get what I want in life. Like, I truly hope, I think my aim is, I don't have any real desire at all to be a billionaire. I think that there are far more millionaires than people realize.
Yeah.
I think the average person who took care of themselves and worked a decent job in their 60s should be a millionaire.
Yeah,
Like,
especially with the
should
way
be.
inflation has gone now.
Absolutely.
A millionaire is a much different term than it was even 20 years ago, let
Yes.
alone 40.
Yes, making six
know.
figures now is like what you need to be aiming for to live a chill life.
I will straight up say, because, I think it's pretty clear, I have to make 6 figures a year to keep doing this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
That's all there is to it. And I'm in my 20s.
right.
And, my dad was doing more than me at my age, and he probably wasn't making 6 figures a year.
Yeah.
That's just how inflation goes.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's also a success story for your dad, where like he didn't do that, but you started a little bit better off, and then you got to do that. So who knows like what your future kids will be able to accomplish because you kept the chain of hard work going.
Yeah.
I'm in the same exact boat. Like when I was God, during the like ultra woke decade of like 2014 to 2024.
I don't miss it.
No, I don't at all. I was, and I'm not doing this for a pity party. This just is me describing events. I was in various conversations that I was having, constantly brushed off because I was white. My opinion of like society or how it should go or what my story has been leading up into my life just didn't matter. Like the social climate at the time did not give a fuck about what any white person had to say unless it was groveling at the feet of whoever was running the social justice game. Yeah. And so, at the time,
I just shut up at that time.
Yeah,
dude.
of course, same.
Honestly, I was pretty quiet. I mean, towards the end of it, I probably spoke up a little more. And I would say, just full admit, there was times I tried to like fit in and not like be that seen as like that evil white guy. I was trying to be the cool white guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I'm like,
I'm an ally.
I'm so exactly, and now I'm so grown up and past that for me, it's like, I cannot deny the truth that I am, that white straight male. But that's just who the fuck I am. You could take it or leave it. And if you're gonna, if anybody has a problem with me for that, that's the easiest sign in my life. Like,
it's
okay,
a good filter.
Later.
Yeah, easily. And that I'm, also thankful to be surrounded by a group of people who do not give a fuck about any intangible thing like that. Like you can't choose your race or sexuality. So
totally
like
out
we
of
don't
your
focus
control.
on it. But personally, I was born into East Lancaster, and we lived off of only my dad's income as a Costco cashier. That was it. That's not enough. Yeah. And then my mom had, and then my parents had my younger brother Josh, and then they had my younger brother Noah. So we were raising a family off of that single income. And so I am nowhere near what anyone would consider Nepo. Like I have already, where I'm at now, like watched myself surpass my parents in earnings. Like I'm accidentally knocked down the chair. And it's a weird feeling. Like it's a really weird feeling, and I'm super grateful. I'm in a position where, and they like have, huge advantages over me when it comes to having decades to build wealth and being able to purchase a home when it was more doable. So they still are ahead of me on a bunch of different metrics. But I am like now looking towards like, what can I do? Like, how far can I go, even considering where I had to start? And then when I am in my later years of life, how far can I like give my kids a head start to where like, okay, I probably won't be a millionaire till I'm in my 50s, and it would be really cool to be able to raise my kids to where they'd be millionaires in their 40s. Yeah. And then maybe the next time it's in their 30s. Like, and not for the sake of just some trivial dollar amount, but there is a struggle that is required in order to get to a comfortable life. And
Yeah.
to be able to shorten that struggle for your generations to come is a huge accomplishment. And I think it's what everyone aims for. It's why the majority of people immigrate into America is because they are willing to sacrifice essentially what is going to be their entire life. They will not get leisure for their entire life in hopes that they can raise kids that go get a degree and become middle class. Like the parents who sacrifice that will spend their every waking moment for their children, not for themselves. And then hopefully, if they raise a kid who is not fucked up and gets a job that pays well enough, then their kid will take care of them towards their later years.
Yeah.
But like, that's a huge sacrifice that nobody born in America is willing to do. Like, our people our age that we've grown up with, we're so privileged and spoiled that we don't have to do that. And the thought of like, hey man, what if you like fucking hunkered down and went into grind time for the rest of your life starting now? They'd be like, no, why the hell would I do that? And it's like, there's so many people doing that for pennies of what you're making, just for a shot that their kids start where your parents started or where you're starting. So I don't know. It seems like a lot of it to me is just improper mindsets. I think a lot of people need a healthy dose of reality. Yeah.
And that's the internet, dude. It's like you said it earlier, people that have spent their whole life in their room basically. And then they start showing up with ideas about how we have to live in the real world. And it's like, well, have you tried it yet?
Right.
Like, have you actually, like, not even to say, oh, go touch grass.
Right.
Because anybody could go outside. But have you gone out and, like, actually taken your headphones out and made eye contact with strangers and initiated random conversations with somebody that you have no real reason to, just because it's a way to connect with people in your community? And, that's like, I used to be a pretty antisocial person, and now I try to be as social as can be. Anywhere I go, I'm trying to talk to everybody. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, have a good day and stuff like that, because it's like the older I get, the more I'm like, the internet is whack. Social media, like...
It's all fake.
I understand why people think we're going to end up in Wally World or like... Or like Sword Art Online, where you plug in and you go in.
And you escape.
That's how everybody lives, and that's how... the whole world is. Everybody's plugged in, and that's the new world. Like, I kind of, the older I get and the more I'm on social media and the way people act on there, it's like, man, this really does feel like kind of where that's leading. People are treating this like a whole world in its own, and it sucks over here, man. The real world's way better because nobody, like, when you actually see someone and sit down and talk to someone how we are, no matter if it's someone you love or you hate, you're going to have a more personalized human conversation with them than if it's over a screen texting.
Yeah,
and that's all social media is. It's not even like a voice thing.
No.
It's just text after text. It's like global text message group chat.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's nasty, dude. Yeah. So, the older I get, and especially recently with like doing work on myself and kind of being more intentional and mindful the way I go through life.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just trying to be super social. I'm trying to go out with, like, not staring at my phone or staring at my feet or whatever. I'm trying to look around and, like, make eye contact. And I notice it makes other people uncomfortable. And I'm like, you are in the same trap I'm trying to get out of.
Yeah.
And it's just like I really do want to center my life back in reality.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so many people don't understand that the transition between where you went from antisocial to purposefully social is a decision.
Yes.
People think that, like I was telling, oh God, who was I talking to the other day? It might have been...
dog in real quick.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. No, you're fine. Do your thing.
She's amped. The dog's back and she's amped.
We love it.
But you were talking to somebody.
I was talking to someone the other day because, and this is something that and I love quoting this. I know for people who know me well, it probably gets old. But anyone who has grown up with me my entire life, so basically just like my family and my brothers, maybe one or two friends, if their memory serves them right, I used to be incredibly shy. I used to be incredibly timid.
No.
And I know that's the reaction that I get most of the time, is like, no way. But something that my mom always likes to, when I say this in front of my parents around friends, they have your reaction. And then my mom usually butts in and goes, no, it's true. When we would go to restaurants, he would have Noah order for him.
Your mom has said that to me before.
Yeah, because I didn't want to talk to the waiter because I was nervous. I was scared. Any situation, like I loved my one-on-one relationships, like in elementary school and middle school and the beginning of high school. But the idea of talking to strangers or having eyes on me, just sickening. I didn't want it at all. And it was only once I realized what you've realized, which is it is a decision to be that sociable person.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I can just do it. Like I didn't need to be born this way. I can just go do it. And now I've done it long enough to where people don't think that I ever had to choose. But
yeah,
like I did. And it's like again, you start at level 1 as a novice and you build that skill up. And I was talking to a buddy of mine about that because he, to summarize, he just wants to have more charisma. And I'm like, all charisma is a combination of like confidence and making other people feel good about themselves. Like that's all it really is.
Yeah.
And so if you can be around someone, whether they're a complete stranger that you've never met before or a friend that you've had for their entire life, and you can walk around with no shame and then, point out something about them that you think is great, they're like, I fucking love this guy.
Yeah.
Like I want to be around this guy all the time. And that's literally all the recipe is. It's like so simple, but so many people overthink it or are so scared of hypotheticals that never even come true that they don't ever even do it. And like I've had this like probably a little sick and twisted, but I've always wanted to have like a I don't know, like little nerd friend of mine that like I like know like I could just like I'm going to take you under my wing. I'm going to be your mentor. And like, we're going to fucking like get you a new outfit. We're going to force you to talk to people for years.
I was always there. No, I'm just kidding. I was there the whole time.
You're fucking hilarious.
I needed you.
Well, that's the funny thing too, is like the reason I kind of call it sick and twisted is because I truly think the only way to do it the right way is to do it yourself.
Yeah.
I would love to be that for someone and I would love to like help them out. But I've recognized now in life that you can't change other people. Like you can give them tips and stuff. Like I can give someone like my idea of like what like if they're focused on girls, I can help them with what outfit they're having or like what their text message should say or how they're going to act, what their mindset should be. Sure. But like whether or not you actually follow advice is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Whether or not you actually listen, because I can give advice all day.
Yeah.
It's never going to force someone to do it. Following your own advice is hard, let alone someone else's.
Yeah. It's the same thing. We have a lot of repeat concepts in this episode. I like it, but it's the same thing. You lead the horse to the stream. You can't force the horse to drink from the stream, even if it's gonna die of thirst.
Yeah, lead a horse to water, can't make it drink.
You get exactly. And that's how it goes for everyone. And I notice it more, and as we all grow up, that people tend to get less frustrated when people don't take their advice, and I think people just kind of give it advice less the older they get. But there was definitely a time in life where it felt like almost, I was the same way. I'd get frustrated when somebody'd come to me for advice and then they'd go and end up in the same
cycle,
shitty situation. It's like, man, why'd you even come to me? I feel it makes you feel bad, like you've been ignored and devalued in some way, but really it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with how much they're devaluing themselves to,
of course, not
actually put in that work and to just keep on, instant gratification, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
That drives people to do what they do.
That also holds true in relationships. Like if you're dating somebody, like you can beg them, you can grovel, you can plead for them to change and be like a better partner or be like what you need. And they're not going to change. They're not going to do anything different. Like that was one of the things that I learned throughout my relationships was like, I can't change this other person. And I'm the quote unquote, I'm the love of their life. I'm the most important person in their life. And I can't change them. Nobody's going to be able to change them.
Yep.
They can get inspired through some sort of external force, sure, but that's not you changing them. That's just stars aligning. And so like, funny enough, that's like a huge reason why I'm single now and probably will be for a while, is because now that I have swallowed the bitter pill that I can't change the person I'm with, a lot more people are no longer qualified based off of my standards.
You have to make sure, and it almost makes it a little like when you do find the person that does qualify, you're gonna know more like this has potential. This has a lot more room to grow, and actually, like, it comes down to, it gives you a lot better of a tool set to actually see the rest of your life with somebody. If you're having that understanding, okay, who I'm meeting after the first, say, 6 months, once they're fully comfortable with you and have hopefully opened up fully with you, that's who you're gonna get.
Yeah,
you're not gonna get like this. Oh, they could get better at this or that. No, you got to be okay. Like, if
you're marrying that forever,
you're marrying that forever.
Yeah. And I think,
or you're not. And then,
well,
then that's
also,
that's a situation you do not want to be in.
Right. Yeah. And funny enough, like, me and my most recent ex are a good example of this, and we're not even on speaking terms right now, but I'm going to talk about her anyways because I'm going to speak highly of her. She was a perfect example of me knowing I had high standards for certain qualities that I wanted out of a woman, and her coming around and proving to me that I wasn't asking for too much. Our reason for breaking up was on a completely separate thing that we weren't compatible on. And it was a very like real and adult and important thing. But if you besides that one unfortunately critical mismatch, the overwhelming majority of all my other boxes were checked. And so I went into that relationship going, holy shit, like, what I want is out there.
Yeah.
It does exist. This was like, I didn't think it did for a bit. I thought I was asking for too much or maybe someone too specific for my compatibility. But like meeting her and falling in love with her and all that stuff, like proved to me that, okay, even if I am asking for something that's 1 in a million, if I believe that I am providing like a good value to a relationship and I am worthy of a 1 in a million, then they're out there. Like, there's just not that many of them. But I'm like, now that's why I feel like I'll be single for some time, because I've learned through her that what I want does exist. Yeah. And now I just have to be really fucking patient.
Yeah. And not settle for less.
Right. 100%.
Not settle for something else. And, oh, well, I can make it work, because newsflash, you probably can't.
No.
And you want to believe you can, but.
Dude, younger me was so insecure that I would have dated like the first you could argue that I had done this in the past. I would have dated the first pretty girl that thought I was cute. Like I didn't do any background check. I didn't vet anything. I didn't check if she wasn't fucking crazy or like emotionally twisted. Like, don't care. You're hot and you like me. Yep. I'm in love. Like, that's all I needed. And that was because I didn't value myself enough to walk away from someone attractive. Yeah. Like, I am a completely different person now, thankfully, to where, like, if I run into someone who I think is gorgeous and they find me attractive, like, that's not enough. Like, I am going to get icked out by you because I see how you handle a difficult situation. Yeah. You could look like a famous, like, beautiful model, and then as soon as adversity comes our way and you just lose your fucking mind, I don't want anything to do with you. It's like I suddenly am disgusted. And like there are girls that I wouldn't touch with 39.5-foot pole. And I know that there are men that I have met who would be foaming at the mouth to not only get with, but date that person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have no standards. You have no self-worth. Like you're willing to jump into something because you're enamored by beauty. And that's like the classic siren song that's going to crash your ship, and you're going to learn the hard way. And I learned the hard way. Like I had a brief relationship, and I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to name this person, but I had a brief relationship where they were gorgeous and they were psycho and did not go well. And I like, I was around her and I was like, oh, she's so fine. Like, we joke around. It's a great time.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it wasn't even as soon as we hit bad times, even during the good times, she found bad times and she made the good times bad times. I was uneasy every day because I knew if the day was going well, it wasn't going to end well because this person was not right in the head and they needed to work on themselves. And granted, mind you, they even admitted these things when we broke up. But it's like, you can't, and people like that are typically looking for, like, they're typically trying to fill the void with the relationship. Absolutely. They're hoping that maybe if I fall in love and find my person, then I'll love myself enough. Yeah. And it's like, no, you fucking won't. You're not only going to not love yourself enough, but you're also going to put that person through hell because you don't love yourself enough.
That's the hard part about going into relationships is, honeymoon phase, when the emotions are erupting like a volcano.
Oh, there's nothing like it. It's crack.
There's nothing. It's crack.
It's crack.
Dude, it's beyond crack. It's the only thing better than crack, all right? And you're so fired up and like, oh yeah, dude, and you just want to ride that high and keep going, chase the dragon. You want to do everything a drug addict's going to do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I the first time I ever fell in love, the first thing that like came to my head was, I now fully understand why every piece of art is about this. Yeah. Like, obviously I'm exaggerating, but paintings, sculptures, like beautiful works of music, movies, so many of them are surrounded around love. And it's because it is the most powerful thing I have ever experienced.
It is the pinnacle of human experience.
Yes, 100%.
It is absolutely, and it's the one thing that we all have.
Yeah.
You're born with it. Yeah. Whether it's for the best or for the worst or whoever you end up being, that feeling is something we all get to experience. And hopefully, for most people in the world, you've experienced your mother's love, and that introduces you to it. And then from there, you have an example of love in your life.
Yeah. The only thing I anticipate in my life that will be more powerful than the love I have felt for a partner will be the love for my child. I think that'll be the only thing that will surpass it. But
everything I hear says it will.
Yes, exactly. That's kind of why I'm anticipating it. If I don't, I might be a little concerned.
You might need to go see a
professional.
And be like, why don't I love my son?
I don't love my
why
kid.
do I hate this infant?
Right. They're killing my dreams. But no, I mean, it's just that honeymoon phase is what pulls people into bad relationships because you can fall in love with anyone.
Yep.
Clearly, because I said this on I've said this prior in other podcasts, but like, if love was enough, the first time you fell in love would be your lifelong partner because all you need is love. But you don't. You need compatibility.
You need a lot.
You need a lot.
You need a lot.
Being good at falling in love is not being good at being in a relationship.
Yeah. Strongest lesson I've learned, definitely, through everything I've been through.
Yeah.
And it's even once you kind of grow through a lot of that stuff, you got to be able to come into these things and don't deny yourself the experience because it's crack. You're not, if you fight that experience, you're going to have struggles with that.
It's going to fuck you up.
Because then you're going to hold back on this person. You're going to play with their it becomes a whole different thing, but you just got to be able to come home at the end of the day and look at yourself in the mirror and like, all right, let's get real. Recap. What's going on here? Is everything healthy?
Yeah.
Am I stupid?
Right, exactly.
Like, just check in with yourself.
Yeah, and that's so fucking hard to do when you're in the thick of it. Like,
when,
when you're enamored by someone, when you're infatuated, it is just like, personally, this is kind of how I how I feel about it and how I have experienced it. Once I start falling in love with someone, I'm cooked. I'm done. I just have to ride it out.
Yep.
Like I just have to ride it out because there is no cold logic that I'm going to be able to do to get me out of this without without awful heartbreak. And so that's why I am so particular about when I fall in love now. I am like very adamant about like my boundaries and how I categorize things in my head because funny enough, the majority of times that I have fallen in love with someone, I've fallen in love with them before we ever even had sex. It happens.
I'd agree for myself.
Like there was one time where it didn't happen that way, and that was because we were friends for a decade and then started hooking up, and then the feelings came because of that established relationship.
Gotcha.
And then crossing that line that caused love.
Yeah.
And that's like a very understandable route to getting it to that way.
Yeah.
But for people who I didn't have that very rare setup with, other people in my life that I have fallen in love with, I'm in love with this person like based off of like a kiss and how we laugh together and like holding hands and cuddled up and watching a movie. Like I am head over heels, and I don't even need sex to pull me in.
It's the romance. It's like the whole experience.
Yes, absolutely. You know? I think that's like,
I could get into a whole nother rabbit hole about how, you know, even people our age, but just the way the culture online is around relationships and like, it almost feels like hookup culture and relationship culture are becoming one thing online.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah, and it's not good. Like I think a lot of people,
situationships are.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's why dating, people keep talking about how hard it is. I don't think they're wrong. I think it is hard, but it's because of what we're all the same way that when you pay for something with a certain price, you're saying you believe it's worth that much. It's the same thing with the way we're still participating. These things are still happening, and we all know it sucks, but a lot of people still
think it's worth it.
Will fully indulge in the same way that it's happening, even though it just kind of takes you to be like, hey, let's not do it this way.
Right.
Let's be a little better.
Yeah. Well, I've found myself in scenarios. I always have to speak as if my mother's listening.
I should too. I really should. I haven't thought about that yet, but
I find myself in scenarios where I have to be very adamant about what's happening as it's happening. Like, you know, you can be cold and calculated and everything, but then you fucking drink. And next thing you know, you're entangled with a person, and you're like, I kind of have to be like straight up of like this is just what it is right now. Yeah. Like, because I don't want someone to get led on. I don't want someone to get the wrong idea. It's a horrible, horrible feeling.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you can only do so much. You hope that the person also, if they're communicating with you and say they're on the same page, that they're being honest.
Yeah.
You have to go off of their word. But like, you have to, in order to avoid situationships, in order to avoid this horrible blending of hookup and relationship culture that's going on, you have to be strong enough to draw the line. You have to be able to say, hey, this is not a relationship, or hey, I would love for this to be a relationship. What do you think? Yeah. But if you are, it's a really scary combo to have, and I understand why people don't do it, because it's really uncomfy, and it forces that situation that's happening to die or become real. Yeah. It puts the crossroads immediately there, because if one of them decides, oh, I don't see a future with you, then you stop the situationship, you stop the hooking up, all of it ends. And so why would I do that if I like what I'm doing? I'm just going to keep it going until I'm fucked up in the head.
Path of least resistance, baby.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why, like I said, like, I'm very particular now about allowing myself to fall in love, creating those boundaries, drawing lines in the sand, communicating as clearly as I can, because once I fall in love, I'm fucked. Like I can't do anything
Yeah.
about it. I'm a hardcore romantic. I immediately start like writing poetry and thinking
dude.
of like the future
You
and
get it.
and yeah, like
You
making a
get
time
it.
capsule. Like I want it all. And
Yeah.
and I don't want it all with the wrong person.
Yeah.
And if I can
You've been through enough to know that now.
yeah,
And
yeah.
practice that more importantly.
Yeah, and I also know that there will be aspects of dating me that will not be the easiest. There will be things that someone has to sign on with when they choose me as a partner that will be like something to get used to or challenges or whatever.
Yeah.
To be just very like blunt about it, like not many people are friends with their ex. I'm friends with my ex. You gotta acclimate to that. Like, I like the one ex that I am friends with has a current boyfriend, and I love this guy. Me and him are fucking boys. I get excited every time we hang out. But it took like a little bit for him to get used to this because like most people hate their exes. Most people don't speak to their exes. So the idea that an ex is still in someone's life, they assume there's malintent there. And in reality, my stance is like, dude, we already tried it. We're clearly not for each other. There's no worry in my mind about that.
And with the, you know, with the staying close with your ex things too, even if it's like you don't hate them, it's like most people don't stay close enough with their ex to not like block them if their new partner says, hey, this makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
Like it's like a quick thing for them. But, you know, obviously, it sounds like your situation was a little more of a deeper friendship there. So you guys kept that friendship alive, and you know, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I think being able to look at that honestly and take away the stigma of like, oh, you're friends with your ex, you must obviously still yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Like that's honestly a pretty good quality just to have in general, to be that kind of open-minded where it's like, you know, even if they don't like it at first, like, okay, well, what can we figure out here together so that I am more comfortable with this? You know, like, can I meet this person? Can I hang out with this, you know, hang out with you guys a few times? Whatever it's got to be, you know, like it doesn't mean that you got to just always, I don't know your stance on it. Obviously, we're talking about your situation, but you know, I don't think you're the type of guy where it'd be like, hey, you got to be okay with this, and if you say one thing, it's off.
Yeah,
like,
I
you
wouldn't
could
say
work with it, but you're going to be mindful too. Like, hey, if this doesn't, like, if I can't appease this for you by letting you meet her, like, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and I don't ever want it to feel like some weird do or die where I'm like, oh, I'm choosing my ex over this person. But this is how my opinion on it. I take the ability that I have to maintain healthy relationships with people and allow the past to be the past as a point of pride for myself. And so I have no problem also dating someone who is like amicable with their ex. If they have a similar situation as me, it would be so hypocritical of me to not be cool for that as well. And I have been in relationships where I'm dating a girl that I'm very in love with, and a good friend of mine has been with her before. And thankfully, that friend and I have our own one-on-one relationship. I love them dearly, and I trust them, and I trust my partner, so it's not a worry for me. But for a lot of people, that would be a no-go. And for me personally, if you are incapable of being able to maintain a healthy, mature adult relationship with someone who has had a past with you or has had a past with your partner, if you can't do that, for me, that shows a little bit of emotional weakness. And I don't want to date someone with that level of emotional weakness, because I think that bleeds into other areas.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a isolated thing. I think if you can't handle being a mature adult about that, then there's a huge chance that you won't be able to handle being a mature adult about multiple other things. So it kind of like, if they're like, it's weird to me, I've never been around this and I need some time to get used to it, that's totally fine.
That's just honest. Yeah, that's communication at its finest.
Of course. Like, I'm not expecting I know how uncommon certain dynamics are.
Yeah.
I have a buddy of mine who recently went through a breakup, and he's been hanging around us more. And he's like, I'm getting used to this whole being cool with your ex thing. And because he went through his breakup, and then he wanted to completely cut her off and want nothing to do with her. Understandably so.
Yeah.
But their breakup wasn't hateful. They just didn't work.
Yeah.
And so he had no real reason to hate her. And so we ended up out in public and she was there and they like water under the bridge, had a conversation, and they're good now.
Good.
And now
Yeah.
if she's ever around and he sees her, it's a hello, a hug, and a catch up and a conversation, and everyone's hanging out and having a good time. It's like not a big deal. And like that is like huge. That's what it means to be mature, to put your emotions to the side and like and do the right thing. And so those are like really good qualities that I think a lot of people can learn from. And now granted, if you were in a relationship where you were emotionally abused, physically abused, you were with someone who is a awful fucking person, you got cheated on, whatever it may be, fuck that person. That's
way different situation.
That's a bad person,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't be friends with a bad person.
As your new partner, I don't just not want you talking to them because they're your ex. I don't want you talking to them because I don't want you to keep that kind of company.
Yes, 100%.
You know,
100%. And you shouldn't want that company for yourself either. Now, I just like, and I can only go off of my personal experience, but I just happen to have dated people that I don't think are bad people even to this day. My relationship did not expose them as horrible people. So there's like, so if I see them, I'm going to be nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to be fine. Like, I'm not going to fucking be like even to this day, like, you know, Danny and I are cool. I'm not like begging every day to hang out with her. Like, she has her life. I have my life.
No, absolutely.
And every time I see her, it's just like any other friend where I'm like, it's good to see you. Like, how have you guys been?
And it's pretty much been like that with you guys the whole time.
It's been so easy.
It was like, you know, obviously I don't know the inner workings of it, but it was even just kind of being closer to you, like we were hanging out a little more around that time. It was just smooth. Like it didn't
easily.
even, it felt like nothing happened, you know, because I'm sure that you guys had been through enough to the point where when that happened, it was probably, you know,
it was rough. It was totally rough.
Was it rough?
Yeah,
okay.
It was totally rough, but it was rough in a way where it was like,
you guys didn't go bringing it to everybody else's attention,
absolutely
which is
not.
good. You shouldn't. That's your own business, you know.
But yeah, I mean, it was just like to keep, you know, her privacy. It was a lack of compatibility.
Yeah.
Like we just weren't on the same page with a lot of things, and we didn't operate the same way. And so we just kind of decided, and it was hard. I mean, but we just decided that it would be best if we didn't continue.
Yeah.
And then there's like, you know, the heartbreak period and the recovery and the like no communication and all that stuff. But then like, you know, when you're with someone for that long, they know all your family, they know all your friends, they live in the same area as you at the time. Like you're gonna see them, your friends are gonna see them. The first thing I told my friends when I went through like my big breakup was like, don't stop being friends with her because we broke up. Like that's your friend too.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fair of me to either of you guys if I decided that I was going to interject and destroy your friendship because I'm upset. Like let me heal. Let me go through what I need to go through. And I will do my best to not like see all of that. Like if I'm emotionally vulnerable, but go hang out with your friend. Like how shitty would it be of me to put you in a situation like that? And like, thankfully that just like leaves, opportunity for once, healing has happened and you are good and you no longer, see yourself as attached to that person, then you can revisit them and be like, hey, we have a ton of friends and I don't hate you. Let's find a new normal and not worry about it. Yeah. And that's like good, fine, and easy. As
long as you're like real with yourself about you are being through that like heartbreak phase and there's not like
you can't have any denial.
That's the hard part, because if there's a little bit of denial and, you know, say you're the person on the receiving end, say you reach out and she's the one who receives it and she's got a little bit of denial left over, it's gonna make it really hard for them to say this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to do that until the right time, and that's what'll really make that situation work.
Yeah, I mean, if there was any hint of any of that from either of us, it wouldn't have worked. Yeah. Like we wouldn't have been able to be friends. But like thankfully, we just, you know, we both properly detached, and it's been like so it's been very clean, like very easy.
Yeah. It helps too that, you know, when you get along with somebody just as is, even when there's different things, because it takes more than just getting along sometimes. Yeah. You know, it helps that when you're able to still be in the same room and not like not feel any sort of like start seeing like their quirks in a negative, like any resentment. Like if you could let go of that resentment, then you're solid. But
100%.
resentment is kind of, some people are in denial of resentment, I think, pretty often.
Oh my God.
And
that's like the hardest thing is like trying to be real and honest with yourself. And I think the pivotal moment for me was once she started her current relationship and I saw that she had like fallen in love with someone else. I was so happy for her in the same way that I would be happy for you.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a check moment for me where I was like, holy shit, like this proves everything that I've believed correct up until this point.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I am like so like rooting for you as a friend to find something that's right for you.
No jealousy.
No, like not at all.
No, like it should have been me.
Yeah. Like nothing wrapped up. There was no remnants of anything. And that's why like when I started developing a relationship with him, I was just approaching him with like nothing but like as much kindness and like openness and welcoming that I could, because I was like, listen, bro, like I know on the surface this may seem odd.
It's not common.
It's not at all.
Yeah.
But like I promise you that I will like earn your trust and your like friendship the right way over the long term. And we have,
which says a lot. Like, hey, I'm not just here to get on your good side so I could stay around her. You know, I enjoy hanging out with people and I want you to become a friend as much. Like if I'm going to spend time with you and you're going to be a part of this group.
Yeah. Like if she thinks you're cool, then you're probably pretty cool.
Yeah.
And now like I can say confidently, and I, hope this never happens, but like if they were to break up, I would still be friends with him. Yeah. And that like proves that I'm like, I've developed like a real relationship
That's
with
just
him.
who you are too, dude. Like you're...
I mean, he's a good person. Like to be honest, like he's earned my friendship as well. Like, whereas like if he was a piece of shit, I wouldn't be interjecting myself in their relationship at all, but I also wouldn't want to be friends with him. But like, he fucking invited me and Dill over for board games the other day, and we had a fucking blast. It was so much fun.
Dude, well, who is this guy? Who is it? No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, it's been great, and it's just I don't know. Like I think this might be like one of like the overarching themes of the entire conversation that we've had. But I really think that so much of what you can do, whether it be through like setting your goals on a career or wanting to change as a person or wanting to develop certain relationships, so much of it actually is doable if you decide it is. Like 100%. If you decide you want to be a social person, just start acting like one. You will become one. If you decide you want to be a confident person and you want people to think of you as a confident person, just start exuding that. And people will reflect it.
Fake it till you make it sounds cheesy. It was my uncle's motto. My uncle, rest his soul, his motto was fake it till you make it. And he was my age as like a construction boss in Hollywood. Like the top of the construction department at 28 years old. And, my cousin's doing that now because he passed and my cousin kind of picked up the torch, and started picking up a lot of traction himself. But my uncle would tell everybody, hey, it's tough, but just fake it till you make it. And he did that and he built a massive career out of it.
Dude, it's real. I think like, I think it's sometimes people use how generalized that term is for poor situations where they're using it the wrong way.
I hear
but it is true. Like a lot of my confidence that I have built in myself now has not come from step 1 to step 2. It has come from step 2 and then bled back into step 1. Where I'm like, all right, rather than working on myself for so long and so hard to a point where I would be comfortable in this situation. What do I think someone who already is comfortable in this situation would do? And then I'm just going to do that.
And then
even
grow
if
into
it scares me. Yeah. And then when I come out, like I'm okay, like I'm unscathed, then I'm like, holy shit, I can do it. I just proved it. And then that's how like step 1 starts building itself up of the actual organic confidence. And then then you fake it until you don't have to fake it anymore.
Until you've actually made it. You make that a reality.
And I think like that has the same thing with certain relationships that you can develop in your life. Like if you truly believe that you can develop a friendship with somebody, or you can develop like a strong relationship with someone, and you're capable of maintaining that. As long as that person can match you, then you can do it. Like it's so simple. Like if you're worried about the past or worried about weird dynamics, if you and that other person have an agreement where we won't let it get in the way, I'm not going to make it weird and you're not going to make it weird. So it sounds like it'll never get weird. And you just move with that in mind.
Yeah.
Then it works.
Yep.
It absolutely works. So many people write off any possibility in their life before they ever fucking just do it.
They overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
They
100%.
overcomplicate it. And this is something I've been working on recently in like I guess different ways, but even with me, I always felt like growing and like improving in certain aspects of life.
Yeah.
Like I'll come up with these big 5-step plans about like, I'm going to do this, this, and this. It's going to be great, dude. I'm going to be on top of my shit. And I'm coming to realize, no, it really, like that hurts your efforts more than it helps. And all you got to do is just see where you want to be and just kind of go there and grow into it as much as you can. And you might have to recalibrate from time to time. Not saying it's going to go perfectly the first time.
Yeah.
But you got to kind of, the type of person I am, I grow better from experience. So throwing myself in the fire of experience is where I'll learn. And if I fail in that experience, doesn't mean I can't try again.
Right,
and failure is one of the greatest teachers, as any successful person will say.
Yeah.
And no, that's something I wanted to talk about this whole episode. So I was like, freaking beautiful segue, dude.
Yeah.
Life is simpler than a lot of us treat it. And issues, solutions, we want it to be complex because humans are truthfully complex.
Yeah.
But when you stop looking at like, oh man, this is a big old butterfly effect chain reaction thing, and more of like hey, I don't like this, so I'm just going to do this.
Yeah.
It's like, it could be that simple, and you'll see great results quickly.
Yeah. I don't typically set New Year's resolutions for myself.
I stopped at some point or another.
I try to set life goals and then revisit them. Like recently, I have an old notebook that I set a whole like list of like what my dream life would have in it. And it was my realistic dream life. Like I'm not sitting here like, oh, I want to live. I want a yacht. I want to live in Beverly Hills. I want a private jet. Like none of that bullshit. I don't need those things. As obviously, if someone said you can have them for free, then yeah, gimme. But if that's not the case, I don't need to sacrifice my entire life to get those things. Nonetheless, I listed out what a realistic idea of my dream life would be, and I did this like probably in like 2021 or 2022, and a lot of the things on there I had mapped out for like a 10-year plan or like at least a 5-year plan. And I came back to it a couple of years later and came back to it again like a couple of weeks ago, and I was crossing things off the list. I was like, holy shit, I'm doing it. Like it's actually fucking happening. Like things that I never thought would happen anytime soon. I've already been done. Like I went back in there, and one of them was like, own a Tesla. And I was like, oh, dude, I've owned a Tesla for like 3 years now. Like, holy shit.
Has it already been 3 years?
Yeah. I've had that thing since 2023.
Gosh, dude. I remember when you posted that and you were like, very, like, it was like, I think the first moment I've seen you kind of publicly be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
But I remember that stuck with me because I was like, nice, you freaking deserve that, my boy.
Dude, it happened way sooner than I thought.
Wow.
And then I went back on that thing and I was like, holy shit, that wasn't something I was expecting to do until like my 30s at least.
Yeah.
And I did it when I was 25. And so it was huge for me. And there was a few other things in there that I had already crossed off, and then a couple things that I hadn't even realized that I'm working on right now. And all that to say, the reason I brought this up is because I do have a semi New Year resolution, and that's more or less just because this new change that I am trying to be has happened around the new year. But this year I am trying to be far much more of a doer than a planner. That has been like,
nice.
I work 40 hours a week minimum. And starting tomorrow, I'm going back to school and I'll be pursuing my mechanical engineering degree.
Look at
and
you.
That will tack on another, they're estimating 18 to 20 hours, in my week. And on top of that, I am still trying to maintain the social lives that I'm doing, my hobbies. I have like, just to be like generally open, like I have stuff that I'm trying to maintain with like my car. I am going on a couple vacations in the next couple months, and then I have like a surgery coming up as well. And these are all things that I'm trying to like balance. And the only way, and I guess a doer, not just opposed to a planner, but also as opposed to a procrastinator.
Yeah.
Because I have the time in my life. I do to do these things. But if I don't get off my fucking phone, get off my fucking social media apps, then I won't have the time. And so lately,
I hear that, dude.
I've just been trying to go. Like, I get home. Do I need to check the mail? Yes. Don't fucking sit down.
Yeah.
If I sit down, I'm cooked. Go check the mail. Do I need to check my emails for school? Yes. Check them right now.
Yeah.
Do I need to go then do laundry? Yes. Keep going. Do that now. Do I need to go eat? Yes. Keep going. Do that now. Like, don't stop. Don't slow down.
Yeah.
Because I need to do.
Momentum's powerful too.
Yeah. If I identify as a person who is a doer, this is how I operate. I just go. I go.
Yeah.
Then I can do all of it. But if I'm like, well, I'll take, I'm on my phone, but I still have time. I can do it.
Yeah.
Well, if I plan it right, I could do this, then do that back to back, and I'll have time to do this. Like, if I start getting in my head about how I still can pull it off, and I can justify this instant gratification bullshit time wasting that I'm doing, I'm fucked. And then everything gets pushed off another day. I'm cramming that next day. I'm stressed out.
And even if you do get it all done, if you're anything like me, it feels way better to get it done. And at the end of the day, this is my free time until I go to bed.
It's like the sweetest free time ever because it's earned.
Instead of like you're doing something right before bed because you wanted to do all this other stuff first. And then you're getting to bed and brushing your teeth feels like a chore because you're tired. Because you're oh, dude, like it's kind of, no, I hear you, dude. I'm trying to get right there with you.
Yeah, and I think
gotta get off the doom scrolling.
Yeah, the thing that makes it easier is the clearer it is what you need to do, the easier it is to do it. Like if your path is like right in front of you, like I know I need to do my laundry, but not only do my laundry, I need to do like my darks, and then I need to do I need to like cook a meal, but it's not just cook a meal. I need to make a specific like Chipotle bowl or whatever.
Yeah, and
then you can operate from there. But if you keep it vague, then you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to operate that way.
Yeah. And that's all stuff that I'll be doing in my therapy sessions coming up. We were talking about that today. It was just kind of like structuring my life better, and instead of spending so much energy deciding, like, oh, what am I doing for food? When am I doing this? And kind of just, I get everything I need done in the day, but it's so like messy the way I go about it right now, especially because I'm not working. So I have so much free time I usually don't have. And it's like, oh man, like it's kind of blessing and a curse because it's nice. I don't have to go to work, but it's a curse in the sense of, man, the structure of working 12-hour days isn't there right now. And that's usually my whole day. That's like my whole week is work. And I feel fine because I'm putting everything I need on the table. I'm making ends meet.
That's a day.
And then when I don't have that, I'm not commuting. I'm not working 12 hours. I'm not pretty much having 30 minutes of free time to myself. It's like, man, I prefer it this way, but what do I do with it? You know? And then
I've been there.
I waste a lot of time, and then I kind of feel a certain way about that.
You're aimless. You're roaming around.
Yeah.
There's no real direction.
And then you're restless. And then you're restless and get a little anxious. Like, what's going on here? I don't understand what today is. And I'm trying to get better at that. Just kind of, even when I have my free time, taking control and having the structure on my own and having things that it's kind of like this podcast somewhat helps because it's like, I want to work towards this. I want to make more of those stupid little funny videos. Like I put on Instagram, and when I'm thinking about that, it's a little bit more helpful than like, how am I going to spend today?
Right.
It's like, oh, okay,
you have a task rather than a day.
Yeah. And when I have things I have to get done at the same time, it's like, well, I have to get these things done. I can't put this as a priority to that, but I know I really want to do it. So I'm going to get all that stuff done. Now it's kind of, I'm trying to get more like how you are trying to do it this year with the doing thing
Be more
instead
of a doer.
of, oh yeah, man, well, I kind of want to sit down and watch this show that I've been wanting to watch, and instead of just, save that for later when you
Yeah.
have nothing holding your cognitive load captive anymore.
Right.
It's like, oh, I'll watch this now and I'll grocery shop at 10 p.m. right before they close.
Right, exactly, yeah.
That's kind of me today. I'm not going to lie. I watched an episode of Fallout, the new season that's out, and I'm like, okay, so when Caleb leaves, I got to do laundry. I got to go to the grocery store. And it's like, I could have totally done all of that stuff before you got here.
Right.
But I procrastinated.
Yeah.
Straight up,
Yeah.
point blank, don't have an excuse.
Well, yeah, no, acknowledging it is how you
It's half
do
the
something
battle.
about it, yeah.
Knowledge is half the battle. G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. That's
How
funny.
much more time do you got, Caleb? We've been here for almost 3 hours.
I think we're good. I think we can kind of wrap it up because I'll catch myself speaking in thematic circles.
Okay.
And so I think we're kind of at a good point. Unless you have like one final point that you want to touch on.
There was one more. I just wanted to talk to you about your podcast and
Oh,
your
yeah,
ambitions
absolutely.
and stuff like that. You don't have to go into a grand, thing. I'll record. We jumped right into this, so I'll record a little intro thing,
Yeah.
telling people who you are before they listen to you talk. Or we could just do the intro now. Like it'll play at this point.
We
in
can't.
the
We
podca-
can't.
No, I'm just kidding.
We just say we can't touch on the topic. I kind of had a I guess to just be straightforward, a little bit of like a falling out of the passion for it because it was a combination of, I think, mismanaging my workload with it and my expectations for it. And I have not had any experience in like video editing, audio recording, audio editing, video recording. Like all of this was new to me. So I think it was something that like derailed me was a bit of the combination of multiple learning curves all at once. Every single
Gotcha.
task along the way was a grueling learning process. There was never
Gotcha.
like a point where I hit like a easy flow where I was like, oh, I do this, knock it out real quick. I know what I'm doing. I'm skilled in this. And so it was like learning to podcast on my own, learning to schedule guests on my own, learning to make sure the camera's recording the right way, learning lighting, learning audio, learning video editing, learning posting, all of these things. Like I wanted to make clips and I never did that because I didn't have time. Like
Clips are hard.
the thing
Clips
that
are hard.
the thing that was taking up most of my time was just like the absolute workload that I put on myself for it, and then I wasn't getting nearly as much of the enjoyment out of it that I was originally anticipating. And the problem with that was because I was, like I said, mismanaging of like schedule and stuff. I wasn't able to. I wasn't properly scheduling guests, and that's like the thing that I love to do the most is to talk to someone else.
Yeah.
So it would be Wednesday and I need to put something out. And so I would sit down and I would record by myself for the 5th time in a row because I kept putting off scheduling a guest. And then I'd have to go through this grueling editing process and I never got to hang out with anyone. I never got to have my conversation with someone. So I found myself going like, man, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this is like, I'm not looking forward to this. And my favorite part about all of it was just like the messages that I would do back and forth with people after I posted where they would get something out of it and they would want to talk to me about it. I loved that. But it was just like, it became a little bit of a chore. And so I was like, okay, I need to stop putting pressure on myself just to do this for the sake of doing this. I need to take a step back. I'm really thinking of kind of doing a lot more similar of a setup that like you have here with my main computer because I was moving mine all over the house and going through a laptop, and I still can do that, but I kind of want a much more static setup in my space that I can use whenever, and then streamline the process a little more, even if it means just going back to audio and not doing video for a little bit, just so I can kind of get the ball rolling. But like,
you got me, and I kind of come into the podcast game with a ton of YouTube experience. Right. This is all walk in the park to me. What I've done here, I got everything. I got the first episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon now, as well as YouTube. Yeah. And like all of that, it's just, I've been doing this for so long that
Right.
all of it's just like, even when I have to figure it out, I figure it out so quick. It's so second nature. And then I try to fill out those freaking forms right there for something I got to deal with. And I'm like panicking, losing my mind.
Yeah.
But if you need help setting anything up, dude, with anything, I know we're like,
Yeah.
we're live support chat right now. But yeah, dude, like even just streamlining everything, I could totally help you get a system going on that too. Because I'd love to see it come back. I miss it, man.
I know.
I miss Unserious University.
Yeah, and I definitely see it right now as like a hiatus rather than an end.
Yeah.
I will be coming back to it, and I think the thing that I'm trying to do now is see what my life is like with school.
Yeah.
And then that's where I'm hoping that if I can take on more of this like doer attitude, doer mindset, I will be able to fit that in there. And I don't think I'll be able to do like weekly. I'm going to kind of try and like just
when you can.
when I can.
Gotcha.
But it just, you know, it was and has been a whole process to try to take this on solo. And for the first time, like as a person, like I wasn't the content creator. Like even when Nick and I did our podcast years ago, he was the guy with the computer. Like I was the guy that showed up. I would help post on social media and I would help schedule guests, as would he. But like as soon as we were done recording, I went home.
Yeah.
And then he would sit here and do all of it. But that was
his
also,
wheelhouse.
But that was because it was a walk in the park for him and it was not for me. And so me taking on all of that by myself was a lot. And it was like so much work. And that's the funny thing is I can acknowledge, because if anyone's watching and they're like a content creator, they know that a podcast is the easiest fucking thing to do. Like, especially if there's no video, like it's so straightforward and simple. But for me, it's like, okay, where's that button? In Audacity, like where's the cut button?
Yeah.
And then oh well, I don't like the echo. Is that something I can fix in post? I have to watch a 15-minute YouTube tutorial on that.
Yeah.
And it's like this seemingly straightforward, easy process for someone is a 3-hour.
Yeah.
And if I get off work after a 10-hour shift and I want to learn how to like improve the quality of an audio episode, that's the rest of my day.
Yeah.
And then once I've
absolutely.
learned to do that, then I learn the tools and cut it and put it together. Oh, I forgot to record an intro. Got to record an intro.
Yeah.
That's my day. Then it's Wednesday and I'm doing all this. I'm finally ready. And then I'm typing out the description and posting it to each platform and what's the title going to be and what's the thumbnail going to be. That's my day.
Yeah.
And then by now it's Thursday and I've put out one episode and I've been watching YouTube tutorials the entire week on trying to figure out all of it. And I'm like, and all I did was just like sit down and talk to myself about some random current topic.
Didn't even get you
Didn't even get to hang
full
out with someone.
experience
Yeah.
you seek when you set something like that up.
Yeah, and I was
know?
like, this is exhausting, dude.
Yeah.
And granted, I know when I jump back into it, I will have not lost those skills that I have already acquired, and then I can build off of that. But I kind of hit a roadblock. And so I needed a break because I didn't want to hate it, and I still don't hate it.
Yeah.
But then like the last time I posted was like July. And then I had like my birthday, my summer was absolutely packed with plans. And then you run into the holiday seasons before you know it.
Oh yeah.
And then now we're at the new year. And I'm like, here I am. But a lot of people have been hitting me up and have been asking me about it. And I feel terrible. I feel bad.
Don't feel bad. It's
that
your project.
I know,
we should feel bad for putting the pressure on you.
No. I can handle it. But I do feel bad because I knew it was something that people enjoyed. And I've talked to like my good buddy Manny about it. And he's like, dude, even if you put out like little 15-minute episodes here and there, I'm sure people would love that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I know. I need to.
You also can't do it for what the people would love, though. You got to do it for what you're going to love.
Right. No, I know. But he was also recommending that, to his credit, he was recommending that as like a lighter workload for me as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I want to see how my life acclimates. There is
make sure that you're going into it reasonably and you're not biting off more than you could chew. And
there are some other aspects of my personal life that will probably be changing in the first half of this year that will require some acclimating as well. And so I feel that I am currently in a bit of a transitionary period in my life, I'm going to try and let that play out and see how that looks.
Perfect.
But
that's all you can
You know
do.
what? Even if I find fucking time amongst the chaos, I do want to. But it's just been not on my priority list.
And it's hard to remove that pressure from yourself, but it's important. It makes it, a worthwhile experience. I hear that totally, dude.
Yeah.
And I can, as a creator, I relate to a lot of what you're saying. And with music, when I was trying to make music, that's how I felt when I tried to start mixing.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm like hitting up Jariel and I'm like, why am I so bad at this? And he's like, it'll take you about 1,000 hours of doing this to get good because all you can do is do it and develop the ear. And, I never developed the ear. I just got so like, man, I want to do greatness because when I do YouTube, I'm pretty great at it already. I have all the skills I need. And it just, I get that.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a lot to try to, especially as an adult. I have the advantage of I learned everything I know about video for the most part as a kid in high school that had no responsibilities. So I came out of high school already knowing everything I needed to know, and to add stuff on top of that's a lot easier than to build a foundation when you're working full time. I totally get you, dude. But
so
I'm here to help you as much as I can because I love you and I love the show. So.
Yeah, thank you, man. I love you as well, and I we'll see how it goes, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's on ice, and I know you're gonna post this, I'm gonna repost it, and then people are gonna hit me up and be like, "Oh, you could do someone else's fucking podcast? You could do your own fucking podcast?"
It was my intention. You're welcome, guys. Yeah. You're welcome, dude. That's why I chose you first. I'm clout chasing, dude.
Come on.
I'm clout goblin.
There's no clout on my end with that thing.
He's got clout, dude.
Don't
let him lie to you.
Not at all. I'm lucky enough to have people who are my friends, but. No, yeah, we'll see how it all goes, but I think that kind of covers everything.
I think that's good.
Yeah, I think that's solid.
I think that's an episode of the Mac Attack. 3 hours.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good kickoff.
That is. It'll be a little shorter with the breaks, but like 250. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll cut out like 10 minutes maybe.
Woohoo! Thank you guys for watching. I'm hitting the button.
All
Bye.
right.
Dude, right now.